You think you can hunt us? How cute. Cold steel under moonlight, fangs cut the snow. We run as the pack, where the brave never go. You come with your ego, your guns and your lies, but the wild sees through you. Tonight someone dies. Eyes glowing brighter, we circle your fate. One stupid move and it's already too late. Don't mess with the wolves. Havoc is coming, ripping through your soul. Claws of the savage, jaws breaking control. Hell through the static, the wild takes it all. Havoc is coming. Don't mess with the wolves. You play at the predator, king of the hunt, but we are the nightmare your nightmares confront. Alpha blood rising, the engine ignites. Your fragile humanity ends here tonight. No mercy for hunters who challenge the pack. We feast on the arrogant, we never look back. Don't mess with the wolves. Havoc is coming, ripping through your soul. Claws of the savage, jaws breaking control. Hell through the static, the wild takes it all. Havoc is coming. Don't mess with the wolves. Run, little hunter. The machine of the pack has you locked in its teeth.
Oh, God, I've been talking this whole time. Yes. Yeah, so hello, I'm here. Welcome. Yeah, I muted myself last night and I forgot to unmute today. So this happened. There's a lot of other drops, but this is the biggest one. Because what the hell is this? Have we finally unleashed the teddy bears? No, so this is one of the things that came out of the leak from the Pentagon. Again, there's a bunch of files that are dropping. This is the fourth one that's come out. So people went and used Grok and other AI to analyze it. Oh, look, it says I'm online. Oh, crap. That's not the right one. Jesus Chrysler. Jesus Christ. Let's see. Let's do it. That should be a different. There we go. So that's it being analyzed to kind of give a better idea what it looks like. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think we would make something like that. Looks kind of weird. Looks a little alien to me. I could be mistaken. I have been wrong before. Not often, but, you know. Not often wrong, as I used to call Data's dad. But not only does it move all kinds of funky and then it takes off. It's a pig drone. You know, I do think that if it is an alien, right, I do believe in aliens. I believe that there are stuff in this universe that we are nothing more than specks of minuscule dust, and there are stuff out there we still don't understand or know. And if some alien race was going to come to Earth, I think they would send a probe. And if you take all those little bits over there and imagine those are all eyes just recording information, right? I think that would be a probe they would send here. I mean, I would like the Epstein files out too, but this is something totally different. The Epstein files, I think there's too many people who are like, oh, this is going to get me thrown in the pen or people to lynch me. So, well, the thing is, the ones they have to worry about aerodynamics, right? What if there's a way for it to move in multiple dimensions without having to worry about that, right? So you have this thing that drops out, right? And it's floating around and it's just taking pictures. You shot a few of those at Helldivers. It's going to sprout some legs and start assimilating people and killing them like in Mass Effect. Big old spikes that come through your body. Well, so the Black Knight, they're pretty sure is just nothing up there. Just a piece of space crap floating around. I think it's a blanket. From what I heard, they think it's just a solar blanket that got loose at one point. The Black Knight is not as cool as some of this other stuff that's happening, but so that is one of them. Somebody was saying they think it's tangled birthday balloons. Other people saying it looks like a pig. I don't really see the pig. I see maybe the mass of balloons. But some people are saying they think it's just a mass of balloons, but that wouldn't explain the way that it moves. So, very interesting. Came out today. Me and Markson were talking about it and looking at it. Especially since the damn thing zooms away. Where people are going to say, oh, the wind took off with it? Like, you know. It does that. Like, that right there kind of throws that out the window, especially since this is a... Does it say what this is? Let me go see. Alien footage today. One of them that when they were leaking, I wonder if the Pentagon hasn't that are out. Or the White House. You have a robot penis? That's called a vibrator for most people, but that's all right. Let's look at a couple of these. Speaking of people, I gotta also send a Grunt, disgruntled Grunt. I haven't seen him in a while. The poor guy had he had a stroke, and last time he was in here, he wasn't able to type or talk very well. So I hope he's okay. But some other reason, the White House stuff reminded me to shoot him a message and make sure he's okay. I know I'm such a bastard. I worry about my people that watch me. All right, so I'm trying to look for right now the updated any of the updated files that have come out. U.S. Indo-Pacific Command website. That's the one I have to actually, I think, go to. Has released multiple things like this. Now, I know some people don't believe in this stuff, and I get that. But I do. I do a lot. Because the possibility that there's something out there is very, 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 very high. It's like when people find out that there are like hundreds of bodies that masses that are round that you could land on if you had a spaceship. And it's not just the, regular planets. There is tons of moons. There is dwarf planets. There's all kinds of stuff in our solar system. If you were to take everybody on Earth and each of them get a ship, you could have like 400 ships land on 400 different places and colonize. Well, in theory, most of those places wouldn't colonize anything, and you would you'd probably just end up dying. But like going to Venus or something. But the idea is out there, and that's pretty cool. At least I find it pretty cool. I don't know about anybody else, but I find it neat. Jump on some spooky music, spooky space music, or Dennis, hold on. Space music for streaming. Get some good vibe music on. This music here is too upbeat. I need to set the mood. There we go. Yes, I have to make it a whole production. There are Mylar balloons that got loose from a party somewhere, and I've taken 15K feet. Some popped. Maybe. Saw this, two separate objects. There are definitely aliens somewhere. It might not be the arguing about something stupid. The only issue is it's just so far to get here. So I think that, again, anything that has come here, right, is just like a remote probe that somebody sent out a long time ago, right? So do I think there's like little green men out there? No. But do I think that there's probes that somebody has sent out? Sure. So are these videos? That'd be nice if these were videos. That's what we saw the other day. That was that star one that was going around. That's an object they're picking out outside of one of the space capsules. Yeah, but they have to even be... So if they had something that was that's only from, I don't know, Alpha Centauri, right? That's only, what, 20 light years away? And you would have to imagine that someone out there, right, would have to realize, like, hey, there's this planet out there, and we want to send something over to that planet because it's interesting, right? So what's the one thing that they would have to pick up? And that would be, right? That would be probably radio waves that were sent out. So the radio waves get sent out, and they go, hey, there's something out there. That looks interesting. Let's send a probe over there. Now, we only base things off of how fast we can get there based on how fast we could travel there. So if they were going to approach almost the speed of light, and let's say they were even 100 light years away, right? And they're like, we know this is going to take 200 years to get there, whatever it is. They send it out. So, and then all of a sudden, you know, somebody goes out there and is like, hey, there's a thing floating around. Then they get that thing, and who knows what it is out there that is being sent out and how it got here. Because again, like, our understanding of the universe is pretty good to an extent with mathematical formulas, right? But that doesn't mean we know everything that's out there. New. We found something, and apparently we've been finding a lot of stuff. The other issue is that the reason why people are asking, like, well, why didn't we see this stuff before till recently, is we have drones that fly around the entire Earth right now that do spy shit and pick up weird stuff all the time, constantly flying. And again, that stuff could be literally anything, right? Could be literally be anything. It could be, it picks up some weird signal, and now the camera goes boop and starts filming what it is. So this is from the Hill today. This video though is old, unless there's another video of this freaky thing up there. Because we saw this star, this I think is a different one. We saw this star-shaped object before in another release. A little bit loud there. Let me turn that down. Now, the thing I don't like about this is when I was reading the other ones, the other one actually had the report. And so some people are like, that's a bird. And then they report that thing was traveling at like 300 miles an hour. Well, again, we don't need to go the speed of light, but we do need to go faster or find other ways of travel, right? And again, there's always something new that comes out there. Somebody's going to be like, oh, well, we realize that if you do this thing, this happens. Oh, okay. But yeah, to do actual like warp drive takes like disgusting amounts of power is what they're guessing. But that's based on all of these things we currently know. And so that one with the balloons, the reason why it was so shocking for people to see, if people think they're balloons, or if it's a probe, which is what I think, is because how fast it was moving, how fast it changed direction. And so like what we're seeing here, again, these are these drones that their whole thing is just to fly. When they pick up something, the drone then locks onto it and follows whatever it is of interest. And it's heat signatures, it's radio waves, it's anything that the sensors of the probe pick up and be like, what the hell is that? And there is an awfully lot of them too that seem to go into the water. That is also true, Madagascar. Well, and that's if they age like Earthlings, right? Like, to us, they might age, they might be alive for 500 years. How the hell do we know? Maybe they have a device that catapults around their sun. Again, space is ungodly big. Space is so big, it's unpredictably big. And there's things that happen which are, I always say, we only know what our current science has proven, right? And there are mathematical formulas for a lot of the stuff, but there's always stuff that, again, that we discover something new, right? So the thing is, what's the next biggest discovery, let's say in space travel? Remember, NASA used to say it was impossible to reuse rockets. And Elon Musk is now out there reusing rockets. Now this, you could say, oh, well, it's a bird, right? Or it's something else. The problem is, I think that bird's traveling, again, like 300 miles per hour. So probably not a bird. And so what these are, again, is a lot of these are drones that are flying by and locking on to stuff with the cameras on board. And then this footage gets sent to somebody in intelligence, and they review it and go, I have no idea what the hell this is. Here's all the data I have, and this matches no data that we could possibly know what the hell it is. So we send it up. That is true. We did think flying at the speed of sound to kill the pilot. There used to be people that thought going faster than the horse, you would lose your breath. Those might have been stupid people, but it was a thing. It's a bird with a rocket strapped to it. And the reason why a lot of this is blacked out is probably because it was a drone, or is, one, they don't want you to know where it was. Two, there's probably some very sensitive information like radio and other things of telemetry, maybe, what equipment it's using. And so they black all that out. And again, maybe even places that we're not even supposed to have a drone. Well, remember, at the one point, they used to tell us none of this existed, right? There's no aliens. There's nothing. Ignore all this weird shit people keep saying. And some of it was like experimental aircrafts from the government, right? And then now they're coming out because people are like, well, we know what the hell this is, and people deserve to know. And this is just what we're picking up. And there was reports even like Russian intelligence, well, USSR intelligence, and Chinese intelligence coming out being like, oh yeah, we see weird shit all the time. We don't know what the hell it is. What the hell do you mean you see weird shit all the time? Well, that was very long time ago, Garbo. During the times of, again, like Greeks and Romans, they started to learn that, you know, there was other stuff around us, right? And there's these other bodies. And then they were using math to calculate, well, this thing doesn't behave the way it should. And that's how they started learning what the planets were up in the sky. And then we're like, well, look, the sun's here, and if we were the center, why would the sun rotate around us and the other planets not rotate around us? And they started learning, okay, well, I guess we go around the sun, right? And then there was people out there dying of dysentery because they didn't know how to wipe their ass properly. So, you know, you can't really say people, because the majority of the people are dumb. That looked like a rocket going by, but... Huh. Hello! Talking about aliens today. Talking about aliens and spacecrafts and what could be a thing or not be a thing. Well, how big's the swallow? So we'll determine if it's what breed it is. And then we need to see which coconut it is and when the coconut was fallen. So to me, again, the most likely thing is if we are being visited by another planet, what the shit is that? Sir, we got a flock of birds. Really? Why are the birds on fire? That's a damn good question. I think it's one of those damn Chinese dragons. Hated beans. Who was that one? Who was he? He was Greek or Roman? And they like he'd have like women piss on him or something. Like, he was a weird dude. He was a astronomer, but weird guy. I don't know if it's Pythagoras or not. I don't remember, but I know there's a few of them out there that they were pretty freaky people. So, I mean, someone could look at this and be like, oh, it's a flock of birds or whatever. Problem is that one, I think it's too goddamn high. Two, they're giving out a huge thermal signature that they're on fire, is my guess. And three, I think they're giving out a small contrail. So maybe a drone swarm. Maybe it is Pythagoras, I'm thinking. I don't know. I have to go look it up. I just know I was reading about one of them, like, oh, God. And then there was, Jesus, the other guy. I can't remember him. The one where, the emperor cut his penis off because he looked like his wife. So he started acting like that was his new wife. Sporus, that's who it was. Oh, God. Poor bastard. I want to talk about a guy who went through a rough time in the Roman days. Try having your, wiener cut off. What the Caesar wants, you look like... What the shit was that? Hold on. No, that's not the right button. What the hell is that? Is that a head crab flying at Mach 4? No, where's the wings? This is also really high up. I think it's higher than a bat's gonna fly. Because I think that's at someone's compound and we're probably gonna blow up. And then it does that. I ain't never seen a bat do that before. Not even the Batman. So I'm going frame by frame, but this is what it looks like in full speed. The hell kind of drone does that, man? We also don't know what years these were put out, Neil. That's the other question. I don't know how far zoomed in. That's another good question, too. So again, as I was explaining, a lot of these are aerial drones, right? So we have these drones, probably been going for 20 years or so. We make them better and better, and they put them up in the sky, and they go around the Earth, and they go to different parts of the Earth, and they spy on people we don't like, and we're probably eventually going to blow them up. What about dogs? I mean, cat or dog, I would say, is both a very good thing, if not to be eliminated. But if the cat sits there and then looks at you and goes, "I am your overlord," I think people are going to freak the hell out too. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, cat girl. Now you have a much different thing. Yes. If you do like, because it wouldn't be a furry, right? It would be like, just, well, not an anthropomorphic animal. I guess a demi-human? Human with animalistic traits? Dog boys might get shot. Kangaroo man would get shot too, like in Tank Girl, I believe. But if you showed up in Japan with a bunch of cat girl aliens, I think they would take them. Oh, but as I was saying, as the drone flies by, a sensor again, and I already explained this for other people who are here. Oh, there you go. There you go, Radagasker. That too. But the camera picks up on the whatever object it is, because it doesn't look at it like because I think there might be an operator. I don't know. But the drone goes out there and goes, "Oh, look. That's something weird. Let me go whip around the camera over there." And then I don't know how much it zooms in or doesn't zoom in, right? We're saying if the aliens showed up looking like cat girls, the chance of them getting shot would be reduced. Or bunnies, as Radagasker would like. feel like a pencil sharpener alien would be freaky. I wonder if they were like big cockroach people. Like, if they were aliens from somewhere else, they wouldn't have to be mammals. It could be fish. Polly advertises for me. That's why. That's why she's everywhere. Oh no, Mr. Bill! I think those are a different type of alien. You know, we don't have them here where I'm at. The Home Depot, rent the handyman, whatever you want to call it. Years ago, they found a meteorite that had spider DNA on it. Allegedly. Yeah, can of biscuit? Oh, what happened with that? Now, when the things start vaporizing the drones, we know, we definitely know something's up. Yeah, brand new files dropped today is what we're watching. 20 minutes of video of them. Which I don't like as much as when I was finding the files myself, because I like the reports that are also in the files. And I'm having a little bit of trouble finding the reports right now. Because reports give a whole different, like, idea what the hell people are looking at. Because otherwise they're like, oh, it's this or it's that. It's like, well, it could be a balloon, but it's traveling at Mach 4, so... must be some hell of a wind trail or wind con it's in. Did I show the really weird one? I think it was the one at the beginning, yeah. Plus there was another star-shaped one from the other files too. Our whole galaxy is just a marble, right? Being thrown around by aliens. Thing is moving. By this point, the camera has to have gone around in a circle at least once. Why? I'm doing the video already. Just send them here. Yuffie's doing something weird with tinfoil. The aliens are not reading your mind. That doesn't need to be on your head. The question is, what kind of probe do you not want to experience? That one's weird because it's got something that's dropped down and blinking. Or maybe it's two of them. Like two round, I don't know. She's dyeing her hair. That's what she's doing. Overwatch, that's funny. That's funny. I mean, it's all what you want to believe. I'm not going to say I believe in aliens, personally, which I've stated many times. But I'm going to say, even if you don't believe in aliens, you're looking at it being like, what the hell is that thing? Right? Like, that's kind of weird. What the hell is that? Don't forget about the dome. Oh my God. I'll be good. I'll be good. Ah! The hell are we looking at now? This ice? I think if he watches it, he's just going to be talking shit the whole time. As would I. I'm not sure what we're looking for here. The video stopped. I don't know it. Hold on. That's still going. All right. As the snowdrift slowly makes its way across the ocean, blue whales use it as sunscreen underneath, blocking the radiation of them. I don't know what I'm looking for here. Hey, by the way, if 100 of you hit that like button, that'd be amazing. Thank you. No, the blue, that's north. That's just saying the direction of the camera. Ah! I picked up something somewhere. I don't even know what the hell you're supposed to be looking for. Because it was that. Maybe it was showing that there's nothing else around this video. But the other one people missed was there was this one, right? This was the star one we saw for the other video. So there was more of this that existed, right? That's what the ant people drive? I see. No, Nancy's just the stupid bee. There's a difference. This is the one everybody was freaking out about with this drop. Some people think it's a bunch of Mylar balloons tied up, but the problem is that idea goes out the window when it starts hauling ass the other direction. And how the light's refracted on it's not right either. Because some of that should be shadowed. So again, people used Grok to enhance the image. I mean, this is a pretty good assumption what it could have been. So people are thinking it might be something that kind of looks like that, or... people are thinking it's a pig drone? Hold on, I got to sift through all my notes here. So that is a representation. Again, someone using AI to kind of get an idea. This is another one, someone using AI to kind of get another general idea of it. It's an older model, but it still checks out. So again, a lot of different ideas people think, because this is the big smoking gun one. People are trying to say, again, they think it's a bunch of tangled up birthday balloons, but the light is not refracting properly where it should. Because if it was, and there were Mylar balloons, you would see long refractive pieces of it, which you don't. So To me, very interesting. My brother owned a probe with the headlights that popped up from the 80s. All right. Well, that's our alien stuff for today. We're gonna go look at some other stuff going on. Because if I don't pop up other stuff, people get upset. So what do you guys think? You think it's an alien? Do you think it's something from Earth? Nanu, maybe? What do you guys think? I believe that it could be an alien probe. Not saying it is an alien probe, but I am saying that if you go to the doctors and you're over the age of 45, you're going to get probed. But, so I don't know how they compare stuff for size. I know that they do speed, they do heat, they do any sort of like radio coming off of it, right? But yeah, for size wise, who knows? Unless it's like going next to a plane or a building, there might be something. There might be some way of looking to being like, it's this big, but they're not telling us. And a lot of the data there is taken off too on purpose. Probably because it says where the drones are at, where they're flying, what's going on, what they're broadcasting at, what they're not broadcasting at, part of the world they're in. I think I already said that. And from what I believe, there's every astronaut has said, oh yeah, we see weird crap all the time outside the windows. But yeah, it could be the size of a hot dog and flying next to it. It could be the size of a Buick, you know, going by. But yeah, it's hard to tell. And again, they might be able to tell. They might be like, oh yeah, we have a sensor on there that we know at zooming in this much, it's this size, right? But they might not be telling us it, right? I could do it in 1 second once I put all these feeds up. I should have been doing it while we were watching the other thing, but I was enamored by it too. I was enjoying watching it with everyone. Tio sent me something, then he disappeared. This is Taiwan bracing for a typhoon. A typhoon of baboons. Yeah, there's been a lot of them that said, like, we saw some weird stuff, and they started trying to videotape them with their cell phones, from what I understand. I don't know how many of those have been released or gotten out. Your guess is as good as mine? But right now, all over my X feed, there's people talking about the, whatever the hell that thing could possibly be. I have heard that there are many stewardesses that have the clap, yes. Fire in California is again back to water being wet. RT, who has been numerously wrong on stuff lately, is like, deformed balloons like UAP over the Atlantic. Fresh DOW release UFO. They had a stroke, they're trying to talk. Fresh new release of UFO files. Video shows a large, somewhat deformed 12 to 15 balloons which traveled with the wind. I don't know if those are balloons there, buddy. I still do not believe it. Especially since the drone picked them up, probably giving off some sort of signal. Well, I'm going to say it's becoming a living hell very soon. You guys want me to keep this music on? Do we got to change up the music now? We're off to a new subject. There we go. Get some different mood music going. I don't know. Again, I don't think it's balloons. Like, and then people, oh, it's just moving with the wind. I don't know. Again, I'm up to any interpretation myself, but I also think that there was a signal being given off by these balloons, and that's why the drone's like, hey, what the hell is that? It's looked at it, right? Like the music sounds like Enya. The Return to Innocence. I used to have an Enya CD when I was a kid. Used it for like working out or meditation or interesting beat off experiences, you know, whatever. I was going to my email to see what this. That's what I was doing. So go here, go here. Unexplained aerial phenomenon tracks turns the SDRs to discount explicable phenomena. So even the mapping the ADS data, flights can be automatically discounted from captured phenomena reports. Unexplained aerial phenomenon enthusiasts gathered together with the UAP tracking network. The UAPTN have turned the software defined radios, not as a means to find aliens, but as a means of discounting commercial aircraft from their records. We want to allow those without deep pockets to make meaningful contributions to the data we hope to gather. Writers at the UAPTNS, Bob McGuire, writer says, so how do you think you would respond to the recommendation that we ask you to buy several $1,000s of cameras in order to prevent you from recording a jet airliner? We want to work together, enabling much less expensive camera contribution videos plus other data in our systems. They said, let's discuss a previous first step. How can we prevent capture by accident over flights by commercial airplanes or general aviation? For now, let's concentrate on commercial flights. Flightware provides detailed maps with moving icons for tracking flights. Then they have taken on the job, allowing individuals with interest, providing them with data to aid in the primary job. They designed an inexpensive receiver. McGuire continues, you plug into your USB port on a Raspberry Pi or other small board ARM-based computers that spent resources constructing a code base to allow the system to be used to tracking commercial flights over government planes operating in normal manners. The FlightAware Pro stick plugs into the USB on the computer. We will use our data trackers. They will be our recommendation for the basic tracking to eliminate many airplanes. They will give more complex costing another few dollars to add the necessary extra pieces to eliminate most general aviation planes. But now this is a 90% solution, which is pretty good. Costing $20, the FlightAware Pro Stick is an RTL SDR software-defined radio receiver, which is capable of turning into and recording the ADS-B signals sent from commercial aircraft. Most commercial flight tracking sites censor military and private jets. SLSDR.com explains of the need to receive the data yourself. Though adds, however, of course, the military aircraft conducting operations are always able to turn off the ADS-B off if required for the mission, which is what UAP networks will probably detect the most. The discussion on using the FlightAware Pro Stick is discussing commercial flights UAP monitoring, to be found on UAPTN forums. Well, that's pretty cool. So you can actually get that and say, hey, this is a commercial flight. We still don't know what the hell it is, right? We know what it ain't. we know, you know, we still know what the hell it is, but we know what it isn't, right? And I think that's part of the battle, is knowing knowing what it's not, right? Because you want to eliminate everything that it could be. I think that's very important. That's a great thing to have. Thank you for being a member for 25 wonderful months.
25 months and going.
Thank you very much. Very much appreciate you. 25 spectacular months. You could do it with a regular SDR too. I think they're just trying to make an easy plug and play device is what they're aiming at. But yeah, I think that more people get involved, kind of watching the skies and watching what's going on, is going to be very important. Because again, it's not about what it is, but what it isn't, right? So like people looking at it being like, oh, it's a bunch of Mylar balloons or whatever, a bunch of birthday balloons that apparently are able to fly Mach 4, or whatever it's supposed to be. And then other people look at it and be like, oh, I know what that is. No, microphone. You don't need to be at my crotch. You need to move back up here. And now you're spinning. What is going on with you? What is loose? Is that loose? Feels loose. Well, that's pretty cool, King. That's awesome, buddy. Have they ever seen an alien? There we go. So we have two storms coming in. They're going to hit Taiwan. Apparently people are bracing. It's going to get pretty bad. Fire over there in Los Angeles. And then Iran news. So far away, and I couldn't get away. Again, the biggest news today is the alien stuff. Is the alien stuff. Or the unidentified stuff anyways. We're going to come out there and be like, oh yeah, well, we knew what the aliens were this whole time. The thing that crashed in Roswell was a probe. And because of that, we were able to make microchips. Everyone would just be like, what? Excuse me? Apparently, speaking about the Iran war stuff, the U.S. will cut trade with Spain due to the airspace closure during the Iran. People keep saying it's a war, but it's technically not a war. Conflict? Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez says, we don't care, go to hell. We will find other partners, but we will not support the U.S. in Israel's illegal war against Iran. Stupid words. Stupid words. What do you think they get from us? What does Spain get from us, you think? Besides military power. What? Let's go see. What is the U.S.'s exports to Spain? Tourism, maybe? What's the import? That's the other question, too. What the hell are we getting from Spain? The figure represents good only, including services. Total U.S. exports to Spain reached around $39.2 billion 2025. U.S. good export to Spain, 26.7. U.S. good imports from Spain, 21.35 billion. U.S. good trades surplus from Spain, 5.22 billion. That's a big chunk of change. With two-way goods at 74.5 billion. Mineral fuels, major categories, mineral fuels, energy, crude petroleum, and gas, often largest, around 6.8 billion we send over there. Pharmaceuticals, aircraft, spacecraft, and other parts, industrial supplies and materials, capital goods, consumer goods, and agriculture. So we send over there tree nuts, corn, soybeans. So we literally help feed their country. We send coal over there, we send oil over there, and petroleum gases and crude products, plus aircraft parts. So not trading to them, we're going to see their stuff slow majorly down because there's not going to be anybody out there to repair their aircraft unless they go get the parts over from, I guess, China. Don't think that's a smart move, Mr. Dirty Sanchez. I feel like this is a very bad plan. If their plan is going to be, we're going to start, like, restricting America, right? Even though, again, America does a lot for those countries. Very bad luck. I don't think it's going to end very well for them. No, Rooster. I have not, buddy. I have other things to do with my day. Because I don't remember who Sneeko is off the top of my head. And, I don't know. Well, hello! Oh my God, it's an alien! It's that guy that was riding shotgun with Lando in the Millennium Falcon. Can't remember his name now. I'm trying to remember the character's name. Is his name really Ninub? I feel like when I was playing, what the hell was that game? X-Wing, the tabletop one. I think I was one of the characters too, so I should have remembered that. Oh, let's see. If the U.S. halted all trade with Spain and a full embargo, Spain would face limited overall economical damage due to the low dependency on the U.S. market, but specific sectors, short-term disruptions would occur. U.S. share of Spain's good exports, only 4 to 5%, around, again, 10 to 20 billion in recent years, and 1 to 3% of Spain's GDP. The EU accounts for 60 to 65% of Spain's exports. Total bilateral trade, though, goods and services is 74.5 billion, as we mentioned earlier. So they would take a 74.5 billion hit if they really wanted to say, oh, we're not going to work with America anymore for anything. U.S. and Spain, top non-EU exports destination after the UK and a major investor. I believe we do send them money. 97 to 116 billion in direction, employing 200,000 people in Spain. But it wasn't critical Spanish economy. Spain's economy, people are saying, is somewhat resilient. Growth was strong, 2.4 to 2.7 recently. Anchored in the EU single market, exports to the U.S. represent for less than peers like Germany or Italy. So, us and Spain can cut off stuff from each other. I think any of this is going to care. We're talking about Spain is upset with America because while we're bombing Iran, they don't want us to use their airspace, which is fine, but still kind of weird. They're saying it's an illegal war going on. Iran's trying to say that the U.S. has abandoned all its Gulf bases, which is not true whatsoever. But Iran's trying to say that they've abandoned all the bases and it's only a matter of time until they try to kill Trump, which is Trump, I believe, unless he's already back home, was in that area. I think this is just the outer point of it before it gets closer. I think leaving NATO is every day coming somewhat closer and more true. Why don't people like you? You seem like a likable guy. We'll like you. You can follow us. I'm a really nice guy usually. Oh, I'm a libertarian, so everybody hates me, so it's fine. As long as you don't try to fight with me on missiles about what the United States have, especially when I prove that they're correct a couple days later, you'll fit in just fine. I'm just looking for news in Iran. There's a lot of people giving opinion pieces, but it's not really helping me. So Raw Alerts is saying Iran is claiming rogue factions within the regime carried out recent attacks on ships in the Strait of Hormuz, which I don't believe whatsoever. I think people know what's going on. Yes, it's still in there. I haven't removed the thing. The other one in there was for status is still in there too. My mods are here just so they could drop links so I can make money. That's about it. Otherwise, I don't really need to police anybody or do anything. Salih Jadad represents the... that's in a different language I cannot read. Can you give me the language I want? Thank you. I would like it in English, please. Or Spanish, but not in Farsi. Supreme Leader represents the Iran Supreme National Security Council and the figurehead of the ultra-conservative, the extremist faction in Iran, who opposes negotiations with the United States, challenged President Pazakani and the Parliament Speaker Mohammed Bahik Karbaf during a ceremony in the Masjid following Khamenei's burial. So apparently, even during the burial, which I still think those are like cow bones or something, because that femur looked, or that shin bone looked huge. Like, when I saw the video, like, I know what human bones look like, right? Yes, my Streamlab is alive. When I looked at the video, and I used to be, went to school to be an EMT, I know what human bones look like. And when they showed the glass coffin and his remains, it looked like a cow femur. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just a video I saw, but it didn't look human to me. Because I figured, like, the guy is probably buried underneath, like, tons of debris. And even if I feel like they got to him, there wouldn't be much left. I want to talk about why Canada didn't help. Yeah. Let's see. Who was the last person I was in there that got mad? Oh, we had someone that was Canadian that came in and got mad at me because they're saying like, oh, well, if you cut off all the exports from America, you wouldn't have these things. So I was just looking up all those things and finding them in America. And I'm like, well, the thing is that you guys are already mining them, so it's easier for us to get those as imports. But America is a big country, and we do have another state that's at the same line of the planet as Canada up there in old Alaska that we could mine the shit out of, but it's very harsh weather. It's easier again to have someone else do it and not have to worry than just import it. But anyways, I digress. What's up, Wasteland Warrior? Trump says he's left instructions to strike Iran, quote unquote, never seen before if he is assassinated. What do you think that's going to be? Do you think he told him if he's assassinated to nuke him? Carpet bomb? That was 17 seconds ago. Somebody reported on that. And then people are saying if Iran had nukes, they would use them. The thing is that even if they do have a nuke, right, they'd have to, one, be able to deploy said nuke somewhere, and two, they would have to make it count really, really well. Because if they had a nuke and they dropped that nuke, and we talked about this last night, where are they going to drop it on, right? I think if anything, they'd have it on Kurg Island and just detonate it and kill anybody that's on it. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Raggy, that one? Or is there another one? The one with the blue people? Was that Spielberg? I don't remember. So again, if you're going to drop a nuke and you're in Iran, you're going to detonate a nuke. Where are you going to drop it, or where are you going to detonate it, right? So you'd have to be able to get it to DC or New York City or San Francisco or anywhere else. I didn't see disclosure. But you have to get the nuke over to America, right? That's very hard to do because we have a lot of things that sniff for radiation, and radiation's not the easiest thing to stop from leaking out and being able to be fined, right? Israel would be an easier target for them, but still kind of hard, but closer. United Emirates is right there. That'd be an easier target. Kuwait. Saudi Arabia. But would that make a big enough impact to use that one nuke, right? And then that one nuke, probably, again, USSR has tons that were missing that people don't know where the hell they went. Could be that, right? Nuke will call an Uber. I need to get to America. But yeah, I think it would be too hard for most targets. And the only one that would really make sense would be to target Israel. And targeting Israel, though, would be a hell of a thing to do. And I think they know even if they detonated it, right? The amount, well, one, the other thing they're banking on is that the world stage looking at them and thinking that they're the victim, right? So that's a big deal. If they detonate a nuke, they're no longer the victim. They're now the aggressor, and I think other countries around the world would be like, oh yeah, time to bomb them. Our mutual destruction, yeah. Assured mutual destruction. And so, do they have a nuke? Maybe. Will they shoot it? Not really. Are they going to detonate it? No. Because then that's the other thing. If they do detonate it, all this they had a nuke things would have been right. He'll be like, well, I thought you said they didn't have a nuke. Apparently they do. So it's a big catch-22, right? If they do have a nuke, they can't shoot the nuke. Because have been saying they don't have a nuke. Oil is important. Oil makes the world go round. Also, 30,000 people that got shot was a good excuse to use, right? Honestly, I feel like that would have been the better excuse instead of the nuke shit. Hey, we're going to step in because you murdered 30,000 people in your street. You just rounded them up and shot them like animals. I feel like that's a big problem that should be more addressed, but it's not. 30 people who knew how it worked are memories. They're probably underneath a lot of rubble right now, yes. Hey, does anyone know how to use this warhead we got sitting here? Nope. Ah, crap. What are you going to do with it? No idea. If the Americans come and threaten to detonate it.
Blow it out your ass.
You want to drop a nuke on Gaza? Well, that's weird. I don't think it's a good idea. I used to have the other one on here too.
I've got balls of steel.
There we go. There's not much there now. Yeah. Unfortunately, I feel there is not much we can do there. Apparently, that other video, people were saying they called it "quote unquote" the floating brain. So I don't know anything about that, but apparently. Yeah, some people are calling it the mother brain. I think they're calling it from Metroid, but... I don't know what the hell the Nano Banana Pro is, but... You could just send me some coffee, Flathead? That'd be awesome. I got bills to pay, man. I gotta get that bar up. So there's another enhancement of it, kind of give people an idea. Yeah, the Metroid boss. Though I don't really see it as a mother brain like the Metroid boss. I feel like you could pick out like a Sonic enemy that Eggman was riding around in that thing, trying to shoot, the little blue bastard. But mother brain, a little bit of a stretch. Anyways, I know it's very small up on the screen, but... And given the spinning wheel of death. But apparently a bunch of people have been feeding it through AIs to try to clear it up. What I want to see is a video version cleaned up. That's what I really want to see. Because I feel like with all this stuff coming out right now, you should be able to use an AI to just really clean up what we're looking to get a better idea. I mean, my thing is you can talk about whatever you want here. I don't care. But my thing is also people also say what they want, and I don't stop them. So just a fair warning. We talk about politics and other stuff here all day long, so I'm just giving you the fair warning. Apparently, Access News, which, from what I've been hearing, Access News has been kind of shitty with getting information out there. What about an illegal space alien? Flighthead, thank you very much for the buy me a coffee. Why do you have chili on your keyboard? You do know that's not how the computer eats, right? You gotta pour it in the power supply to get it to eat. The keyboard's more like just, you know, tickling its butthole.
Flathead 85 has just tipped $5.
Thank you very much, Flathead, for being the first donation of tonight. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So a group, this is off the subject because I'm still looking for stuff I ran, but this came across while I'm looking. Apparently a group of quote-unquote anti-sex vigilantes, anti-sex work vigilantes have gone out there to find who OnlyFans women are, figure out who they are, doxed them, figure out who their family is, and then emails the family about what their daughter or relative is up to. We talked about some alien stuff, and then now we're talking about the fire happening in the Angeles National Forest. Taiwan's about to get rocked by a hurricane, and we're talking about some Iran news. It's a little bit all over the place.
Hey. Paranormal Plea 1 donated $5 through Super Chat. Just because you welcomed my pet unicorn. Unicorn emoji.
Your pet unicorn? Well, thank you for the fiver. Tell them to contact you first and the families. I don't know if he's sending, or the vigilantes who are a part of this are sending. Oh, it's a typhoon. Sorry. You're right, Crackshot. Typhoon. What did I say? Storm of some sort. Did I say hurricane? Typhoon. Yeah, so I think what they're doing is they're just, I hope they are not sending the families nudes of their relatives in their vigilantism. I feel like maybe just sending the information might be good enough. Randolph Mantooth? That's a hell of a last name. And his wife, Womantooth, who played Johnny Gage on Emergency, dies at 80. Man, I don't think I've seen an episode of Emergency since I was living back in California when I was with my parents and they were watching it. What do you think happens when China moves on Taiwan? Well, already Japan said that they were going to blow the shit out of them, and that their military has gone from defensive now to offensive. So Japan is now rearming their ships with offensive weaponry for China. And from what the scuttlebutt is that some of the weaponry Japan has gotten, it might be more advanced than most other countries except for America, which means that it came from America, and it's probably what they have. Especially with whatever garbage they sold Venezuela and whatever they sold Iran, the Chinese defenses didn't do anything. If I was Iran, I'd be pissed. Shh, you can't talk about the Gundam program. What's wrong with you? And the Zoid program. So I'm going to say if they move on Taiwan, the thing that's going to happen is that I think China's going to get a really rude awakening. Oh, let's see. As of today, the fragile U.S.-Iran ceasefire, which is pretty much gone. President Trump declared the ceasefire over following Iranian attacks. We already knew about that. The U.S. conducted strikes on Iran, bringing them up now to 80 to 90 reported. Attacks disrupted shipping. So people are kind of scared now to go through the Strait of Hormuz. So we were talking about how much those ships cost, right? Multi-million dollars. So we all had, if for anyone that wasn't here, we had a crackpot theory day. We figured out we could build an anti-missile / boat, if you will, to go put in the Strait of Hormuz, and for like $2 or $3 million plus crew or whatever else, and you can get people on this thing and have them go back and forth all day long. Escorting boats and probably make money hand over fist defending them. You could charge almost like $100,000 per travel, and somebody out there would probably be okay with paying you to get their ships full of oil where they need to be. But now they're a little bit gun shy and they're kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. Yeah, that didn't work very well. The resupply did not work very well. We blew up a bunch of their so the United States could actually kick in more oil production. The problem is that because of green deals, there's a lot of stuff in America where they say, hey, you can't be drilling, right? We have oil fields all over the place. We have shell all over the place. We could start going to Alaska and find tons of oil. The problem is that, again, because of Greenpeace deals and shit like that, people don't want to do that. And it's also, there's a lot of pollution that happens with excavating oil. So it's better for us to buy and let someone else destroy their country than our own. But if emergencies come, you know, push the shove, America could kick that into high gear. No, sorry, we don't. It's not that we don't believe America. It's more of, we don't believe America or Canada. Anyways. Climate CHF. Well, it's like the thing we learned about the other day about the people in San Jose trying to make in San Francisco trying to make their own bank. You know, yeah, that's what we need. State and city run banks. Seems like a great idea. Who's going to be doing it? Oh, the person's going to be picking him as the person who's trying to put it in there. Okay. Seems like a bad idea, in my opinion. So, huge scam. Huge scam indeed. So, yeah, the Iran news, again, I told Tio to start looking for stuff. He's not really finding much. He sent me a video. Maybe he thinks that's all I need and I would be appeased. I don't know. I'll find stuff to talk about, though. Apparently that we're starting to get bigger planes for deportation. Homeland Security is trying to kick up the amount of people we deport a day and also trying to streamline it to get people out of here a lot quicker. Some of the people even told the American ICE agents, don't worry, I'll be back in a week. Not if we break your legs. So the problem is that for things to happen, so one, the president gets a lot of bullshit pushed on him, right? Fortunately, or fortunately, depends which side you're on when this happens. But the government, the United States government, is supposed to have a lot of check and balances. And the people who are supposed to be able to put policy in should be the American people. The unfortunate part is that has been watered down to the point of, where we can't do anything, right? And even the president, right? People go, oh, well, the president could do all this stuff. The president could do quite a bit. And there were certain powers put into place during Bush and Obama where, yes, there is a certain point where the government can black bag you and make you disappear. Mind you, that's probably a lot of paperwork, and probably people start asking a lot of questions. And those people who get black bagged start to, start to grow. So you can't really do that. It doesn't work great. Madagascar, they're using cargo planes right now for the illegals. So they're using C-130s to move them. So, I mean, that's a lot of people. But again, you can only do it so quickly. The issue is having people go to a court system. Again, that goes back to the checks and balances, and have those people tell them, like, yes, we want this guy, no, we don't. Also, I just came across a video of a guy doing some milling work, and his chuck, that looks good. His chuck for his CNC is really close to his material. Oof. Oh, that's a really close shank. Anyways, sorry. I do, and I remember when California at one time, to make some places look better, shipped them out to different parts of the cities. Portland did the same thing too with the homeless. And then, they started shipping them places where it snowed too much, and homeless were like, we don't want to live here because we're going to freeze to death. So, Trump also has launched a national crackdown on teachers accused of sexual abuse. Apparently, California could lose up to $50 million. That's the other thing we talked about last night, was that apparently California has an issue where only 49% of the kids can read, and only 34% of them can do math, and only 37 of them can do science. Which is pretty bad. Again, that was a goddamn shame to learn. I don't know how, in any way possible, that you could have kids there that can't do basic math or science, and falling just, way below. 20 more likes to go to his over 100. Thank you, folks. Can they work a keyboard, though? I don't know how. They might not even know what the hell the letters on the keyboard are. If I ask them to press the Tilladale key, I don't know if they know what the hell that means. Or an ampersand. Or the pound key. I'm here looking at my keyboard being like, what other things do you not know? In that sentence, put a semicolon. You talking about my ass? No, I'm not. I'm talking. How do you know what a colon is? You failed science. They're not going to take good care of me at all. Do you know the thing about the, there's a, the hell is it? There's a video that came out talking about, people working inside, retirement homes and old folks homes, right? And in that, it shows, how a lot of, that wind is really distracting me. They show how a lot of these old folks homes and stuff, you get nurses in there that know what the hell they're doing, and the firefighters will show up and they'll be like, oh, you know what happened? And they're like, oh, he's fine, but he needs to go to the hospital. And the guy's dead. He's been dead there probably for like 2 days. Oh, he's fine, take him to the hospital. Oh, he's not fine, he's dead. because the home doesn't want people to know who died underneath their watch, right? Because it makes them look bad. So there is a lot of there's a lot of that going on. So yeah, I don't believe they're going to take good care of me or anybody else. Yeah, they only get blamed for it, and I guess it also affects like how much money they get. Back to looking for amazing news for everybody. Yeah, it looks better when the patient dies at the hospital, right? But if you're an EMT worker and you're going to show up and there's a stiff there, you're going to be like, yeah, I have to report this, right? Oh, he's fine. He's breathing. He's not fine. He's sciatic and he's been stiff for about, a couple days. He's been here so long, he's no longer stiff. If you know, you know. Apparently China, people are starting to film things and send them out from China that China's very upset about. Why are they upset? They're upset because they're showing that parts of China are getting worse to the point where people are not able to live. The housing market's going down. People are again pulling gutter out of the oil out of the gutter. And they're showing like massive blood streaks all over the ground. And they're saying, look, you know, we're having people getting killed off here in China left and right. No one's doing a goddamn thing about it, nor do they believe us. So apparently China's now trying to track down the people doing this using the metadata to track these people down. So they're relying now on VPNs, again, to get more of the information out. That's normal, I think. It might be some sort of purge. What is going on in chat and who is trying to check your ass? What? What do I get for looking away? Look away for 2 seconds. Two seconds. Apparently now there's a bunch of videos coming out of Russian soldiers acting dead to avoid getting drone striked. Well, I can't say I blame them. If I saw a drone too and probably had an explosive on it, I'd probably be like, well, I could try to shoot it out, I'm just gonna play dead. Those are my only choices I guess I get. Do Asians have souls? Yes. Now, are you asking they can dance? Like if they have soul? I don't know, but I would assume yes. Yeah, Los Angeles is burning again. Oh, I was going to put different music on. Damn it. That's what I was working on. Tio could at least give me some news. I don't know if he can hear me. He might be able to hear me. Some good news would be good. I could report on stuff, right? While we're sitting here cooling our jets, hanging out. And I look for stuff. Oh, you mean when Ricardo went nuts and started cussing out his own chat the other day? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I haven't seen much Ricardo since that day it happened. He mass reported Zach K or Zach X. Who the hell's Zach X? You know, somebody mass reported me for cyberbullying. Because I'm such a mean bully. Why did he mass report him? Like, what was his reasoning for doing it? Like, I think Ricardo's a scumbag, right? Especially, I'm pretty sure he had something to do with those church fires back in the day. I wonder if it's the same people, Paulie, that got me. And I think it was after, too, I pointed out when he was part of those church fires with CJ. I mean, it's not as bad as when I got the bomb threats. Those were good days, I guess. I'd have like 600 people here watching. Some Antifa person would come in, threaten to kill me. Good times. U.S. is demanding that Iran keeps the Strait of Hormuz fully open to shipping traffic and halt attacks on commercial vehicles in the area, according to the U.S. officials. Iran foreign minister stated that any U.S. breach of the commitments under the MOU will be met with reciprocal actions, according to Iran. Don't know what the hell Iran's going to actually do. Yeah, the good old days, scum. I wish I was making that type of money like them good old days. One night I made $8,000. It was kind of nuts. If I had that, oh my God, you know what I would do? I would pay all my bills. I just don't think people have that type of income anymore. Like, I think stuff has gone up quite a bit. I think there's a lot of people not working, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. No, I don't need coke and hookers. I would, you know what I'd actually do? I would probably build out my garage into a master bedroom with an ensuite. It's probably what I would get. Pay off the truck a bunch. Get that bill down. I know. 40-hour weeks was easy 10 years ago. Oh, yeah, when I was getting older. Did I catch any fatwas on myself lately? No, I don't know if, I don't think I'm on the radar of the Iranian or Middle Eastern people trying to kill me. Well, it wasn't just Portland, remember, Crackshot? Some of those days, like when it was Chicago and they were stealing rifles out of cop cars. Seattle, where they were having all the umbrellas in that little alleyway, that two-lane highway, street, where the hell it was. Again, I don't think anybody really wants to go back to those days. I think once the lawsuits started rolling out and people had to, you know, pay up for what they did, I think that kind of killed the whole thing. That, the infighting, and that people were, that the Antifa people are upset that, you know, they don't want you streaming, right? Because when people were streaming, that was the other thing, is everyone's like, oh, I'm going to go out there and be famous. I'm going to videotape all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. But then the footage came out and people looked stupid, and they got tired of that. So, damn, bowl of Wheaties, why aren't you donating then? Apparently Justin Trudeau is making headlines today. Justin Trudeau got to be in a Katy Perry music video where he jumps around for all of 10 seconds and then disappears. Yeah, it was more like 2 seconds, but you know what I mean. It wasn't much of them. Looks like a silly bastard over there jumping around. Major housing affordability bill will become law without Trump's signature. No, NBC, I am not paying you for news. Sorry. That's what I have robots for. They will give me all the news without you, which is great. Right now, passed the strong bipartisan support, Senate 85-5, House 358-32. Trump called it a yawn and a minor of importance. He canceled a planned signing ceremony in late June because Congress did not pass his Priority Save America Act, strict voter ID, and election reform, which stalled in the Senate. The White House confirmed that it will not veto it, so it automatically becomes law at midnight. The bill, it is described as the most significant federal housing policy overhaul in decades, focused on increasing housing supply and affordability through regulatory streamlining rather than new funding. Major provisions include limits on corporate ownership, caps large institution investors, those controlled 350 plus family homes, from buying more single family homes, require them to sell to individuals within 7 years, with some expectations to build to rent. Streamlined approvals, forms NEPA environmental reviews, expanded category exclusions for housing projects, and allow more flexible zoning reforms, removes restrictions to make factory-built homes easier and cheaper to construct. That might not be a good thing, per se. Updates FHA multifamily loan limits, boosts small dollar mortgages, raises community bank investment caps for affordable housing, and includes rural/veteran housing reforms. Also helps with disaster recovery improvements, renter protections. Wind's killing my ears. What's up, Dub Standards? So right now, one of the problems is, so my house I'm in now, I got for $215,000, right? Which in this market is pretty good, and my interest rate, well, I pay $1,500 a month for mortgage and homeowners insurance, which is pretty freaking low, in my opinion. Make sure you donate so I can keep my house. But this would, I think, even lower that, and it might also lower the interest rates. So I could even refi and probably get my house down to like $1,000 a month, which would be great. The typhoons in Taiwan. Housing affordability remains a major issue due to low supply. So that's the thing. There is no low supply, by the way. There is a lot of supply of housing. The problem is ovaries. How you doing, buddy? Are you feeling any better after your loss? That was sad to hear. And construction cost supports across the parties and housing industry. So people were buying up houses left and right, especially corporations. And if I go on Zillow right now, the amount of homes that are out there for stupid amounts of money that have been there for 10 years is absolutely ridiculous, right? Some of these homes, I'm looking over there. Oh, look, my camera went all funky and now it's looking over somewhere else. Some of these homes have been on the market for like 10 years, right? And not only have they been on the market for 10 years, but nobody's buying them because some of them are just pieces of crap. There's a house right now with 5 acres, right? In the woods that the entire inside has been gutted by a fire. And they want like $300,000 for it. There ain't $300,000 worth of anything. It's going to cost more money to demo the goddamn thing and put a new house. $50,000, $60,000, sure. Maybe for the land, but $300,000? Crazy. Yeah, my bombastic side eye when my camera goes all crappy. It's supposed to go to a neutral thing, but instead, though, my dude gets all crazy-eyed. Maybe there's a ghost it follows. Because the camera actually moves and follows my head. Every once in a while I get stupid. It depends where you're at. I could go on Zillow right now and there's stuff that's on there for years. Not nearly as rare as you think it is. It's more rare that it sells quickly. And it also depends on the area you live and the income of the area. So like, I'll go on Zillow right now. Let's go take a look. I keep telling my parents to sell their house because they get like $2 million for it. They can come move where I'm at. Right now, there's a $1.1 million house That looks like a freaking mansion they could go buy straight out. Like to send them to her randomly. So on Zillow, I'm looking at Zillow here. All right. So let's say we're a small family, right? You're a small family. You want 2 bedrooms and you want 1.5 bath, right? Because well, I live right now with only one toilet, and I'll tell you, spicy food night. Woof! You have people over. It's like a fist fight to get over there. All right, let's go look at the Bay Area. So here's one. This one has been on the market for 3.5 years. 900 and something days. 285,000, 2 bedroom, 3 bath, 1,152 square feet. Let's see, where is this? Stockton. No, somewhere nobody wants to live. All right. Hot as balls, good chance you're going to get robbed. Let's go out where my sister's at. Let's go out towards Manteca. Oh, that's too far. That's Modesto. That's Stockton. Here we go. $249,000 mobile home. You don't even own the land. $249,000 for a mobile home. Nothing wrong with mobile homes, don't get me wrong. That's what you can afford, that's what you can afford. But $259,000, you know, on the land? No, thank you. How long has that been on the market for? 400 days. Well, that one wasn't. That one was under 400,000. Let's see, this one's only been there for 60 days. But I'm only looking for, oh, that's my problem. I only put $300,000 homes on here. See, farmhouse in Tracy, California. That's a hell of a commute if you're working in the city. 4 bedroom, 2 bath. Been on the market for 246 days. So, you know, that's the problem, is there isn't enough homes out there. It's that people can't afford, though, to get into those homes, especially if you have a family. And then you have to try to get a house that's somewhere around where you're actually living, right? So are you trying to get a house where you're living and where you're working is the other problem. So now people are out there trying to find homes. $10 acres and going nowhere, that's a lot of land. New homes are 300,000. Yeah, but you got to also live in Canada, so that's kind of a no-go for a lot of people. I've never really wanted to live in Siberia myself, but I feel like it's a little much. And actually it's pretty expensive too. And also, don't you guys get like 40% of your stuff is taxed already? So you have to make, you know, enough to cover that tax also. Water issues day, plumbers are expensive. They are. That's why I learned to do a lot of plumbing myself. even if I asked it back. Like currently I'm looking at digging up the front yard and expanding the driveway. And that alone's gonna cost like $3 or $4 grand just to pour a slab. I was gonna do pavers, and then after reading, the pavers seem to be more expensive than just having a slab poured. But I think when I do it, I'm also gonna have them look at the pipes too and see how the water pipe looks. Because while that's dug up, it's a good time to swap out the galvanized for something else. And depending on where it is, also look at the sewer pipe if it's close. They wanted 30,000. What are you trying to pave? A goddamn football field? That is a lot, bro. I'm only doing 30 by 10 feet. And the place that does the concrete and gets it all ready to stick in the truck is only like 5 minutes away. So majority of it, I think it's going to be labor. And so I'm wondering if I could dig it up for them, put everything in, and then just have them pour it if I could save some money. 1/10 of a mile to your house. Yeah, that sounds like why it's 30 grand. Just do, you just do pea gravel and throw it in there, I guess. Patrick Stewart has shut down retirement rumors, saying that acted in his life and he's never going to stop doing it. And that he said the one who started that rumor is a jackass. Thanks, Patrick. Toronto, Siberia, whatever. You know, all the same. Large store, it's a Grand Canyon in your driveway. Yeah. Let's see what other stories we got going on here. Trump administration fires remaining members of the Election Assistance Commission, leaving the agency without a commissioner. Fired 2 Democratic commissioners, Thomas Hicks, the chair, and Benjamin Hovland. Accept the registration of the remaining Republican commission, Christy McCormick. That leaves 4-member bipartisan EAC created after 2000 election disputes and no sitting commissioner and unable to meet the quorum for major decisions. Firing came via email and were effective immediately. The White House cited a recent Supreme Court ruling expanding presidential power to remove members of independent agencies, which I think he should have done before. So I think he's weeding them out now. You have a gulag here? Look, comrade, I do not need to go to gulag. That is not one place I want to be. I live in a place where currently if people want to stick me in gulag, I meet them with shotgun at door. Firing came via email. The EAC is the only federal agency dedicated solely to election administration. Its key functions include certifying and testing voting systems and equipment, distributing federal grants to states for election improvements, maintaining the national voter registration forums, providing guidance, best practices, and resources to state and local election officials, supporting election security and accessibility efforts. So they would be the ones being like, yeah, IDs might be a really good idea. Just saying, just throwing that one out there. Operates as a small, nonpartisan body with limited regulatory power, but significant influence on standards and support. 4 months before the 2026 midterms, which will determine control of Congress, follows Trump's broader push to reshape election rules, including emphasis on voter ID, citizenship verification, and fraud prevention. Critics, Democrats, election experts, call it an attempt to gut the or politicize independent agency, potentially sowing distrust, causing administrative chaos. Supporters view as necessary to align the agency with election security priorities. Trump can nominate a new commissioner, subject to Senate confirmation. In the interim, career staff may handle. Oh no, the fire thing's gone. Tio, I'm literally reading off the news. In the interim, career staff may handle day-to-day operation, but the agency cannot make new key decisions without having a chair. Legal challenges are possible as expert debates whether the Supreme Court president fully applies to the EAC. This fits into an ongoing debate over the federal versus state control of the elections. Developments are fluidic, and people should be looking at what's changing every day. Thanks. I used to have friends who was Romanian. I used to make fun of him and learn how to do it. Day in and day out. Oh, the fatal shooting of Lorenzo Salgado Arjo in Houston draws intense scrutiny, with the Harris County medical examiner ruling the death as a homicide. Well, yes, he was shot. He didn't fall on the bullet. He was shot. Yes, that's a homicide. That means he's dead. Even if it's self-defense, that is a homicide. He didn't magically die. Oh, around 6:50 a.m., ICE agents in an unmarked vehicle conducted a targeted enforcement operation in Houston, Magnolia Park neighborhood. They attempted to stop a white van driven by 52-year-old Lorenzo Salgado Arju, a Mexican Arju? I don't know. Lorenzo, we're just going to call him that. Mexican national who had lived in the United States for 35 years. In 35 years, that is more than enough time for you to go get citizenship. You have more than enough time. It's okay. You don't even have to make it hard. You could just go do it. You've been here for 35 years. There's no excuse, honestly. Except for, I guess, you don't have to pay taxes. I guess that and nothing else really matters because you get everything else for free, but 35 years he was here. And so I'm guessing he actually broke the law too, and we're probably going to hear about that later on. And that's why he was targeted out of everybody else that's been here, since the coming of Christ. But 35 years. More than enough time to go get citizenship. According to the Department of Homeland Security and ICE, Lorenzo refused verbal commands and attempted to run over an agent. An ICE officer then shot him in self-defense, striking him in the torso. He was transported to Ben Taub Hospital and pronounced dead. That was a quick stomach wound to kill him, too. Amnesty for what? He's here illegally. Your country doesn't give amnesty. In fact, have you ever looked at how hard it is to become a citizen in Canada? It's pretty hard. And then they scrutinize the shit out of you too. You come across the border. If you come across the border into Canada without your paperwork, they'll throw you in jail for like weeks being an American. Depending on, who's there and how much the guy wants to be a dick. But, And trying to run people over is not good either. I was born this way. Lorenzo was not the intended target of the operation. Agents were seeking someone else. He and his passenger, including family members, were driving to a construction job. So he was in the guy they were looking for. He could have pulled over. They would have asked him, "Are you so-and-so?" He could have said no and went on his way. Family and passengers, they strongly dispute ICE's version, stating that Lorenzo had no criminal record. It doesn't matter. If he still tried to hit him, then he's still going to get shot. Yeah, Iran shoots border crossers. So does, I think, Iraq and Afghanistan. I want to say Kuwait. Kuwait might just throw you in prison. I believe Kuwait just might throw you in prison. He was here illegally. He was breaking the law. He was less a criminal for breaking said law. Also, don't forget to sub up if you're new here, Joe. I know when you do because it'll pop up on the screen. At least it should. I don't know if it's going to, though. It's supposed to. It's supposed to do that. Was hardworking father of 3 U.S. citizen sons and was seeking a work permit. He had 35 years and he didn't have any paperwork. I do not believe that all of a sudden that day he decided he was going to get a work permit. Oh, why, thank you. Get him, scum. I don't believe in 35 years, just that day he was like, well, you know, I really need to go get a work permit the day I get shot in the stomach. Seems a little funky to me. His family says he would have complied if he knew the vehicles were law enforcement. I'm guessing the cherries and berries on the dash would have said it. Jeez. Combo doesn't want to be the only one. He says family would have complied. Passengers claim ICE cut him off, and then the shooting happened quickly. So ICE is not going to cut you off randomly and then just get him out of the car and shoot you. They probably told him to stop. He didn't, and then they shot him because when they got out of the car, I'm pretty sure they were fully clad in ICE, memorabilia, like that vest thing, and that says ICE on it. New video and experts' reviews raise questions about the sequence of events, including whether the van rammed the ICE vehicles or vice versa. Harris County Medical ruled it as a homicide because, again, the guy was shot in the torso. He didn't magically collapse and die. Including whether the van, no, that's the wrong sentence, my bad. This is fractal determination of cause, not legal judgment, yes. Harris County District Attorney's Office is investigating independently. Federal authorities, ICE and DHS, are also reviewing, and probably the FBI. Calls for full transparency, body cam surveillance video release, and independent probe for local leaders. Most ICE agents don't have body cams, nor do their vehicles have dash cams, because, as I mentioned before, they haven't put that in the budget or mandated it. Should they? Yes. Again, it wasn't a big deal because the ICE agents were just kind of go out there, grab the guy, and take him away. But now they're doing a more hands-on approach. Not as much as Obama, who was overarching sweeps of grabbing people and throwing them out the country like it was going out of style. But, still. Lorenzo was a long-time Houston resident with deep community ties, so he was here illegally again for 35 years. Shooting has sparked protests and heightened tension amid the Trump administration's expand immigration enforcement, which again was still not as bad as Obama's. But again, you've been here for 35 years. 35 years. You had 35 years to go get your citizenship. Why didn't you do it in 35 years? Well, are your kids citizens here? I don't know why they would have to fear ICE. Just because you're Hispanic doesn't mean that they're going to grab you. If so, everyone in California would be gone. Because that would be a shit ton of people. Exactly. They're not illegal. That's why they don't fear them. They stop them and they give them an ID. Hey, I live here, dickhead, go away. Now, I'm all about telling the cops to go F themselves if you can. Missouri is flooding. Missouri has them floods. Look, Teo, here's news. There's Missouri flooding. Why don't you find me some Missouri being flooded? Heavy thunderstorms dumped 6 to 12 inches of rain. That's a lot of rain. In southeast Missouri, especially from the Iron and Reynolds counties on July 9th to 10th, 2026. Oh my God, that's today. Triggering life-threatening flash flooding along the Black River. That is racist. I can't believe they said that. Governor Mike Keogh declared the state of emergency on July 10th to support response efforts. Over 90 water rescues, that's a lot of water rescues, reported swiftwater teams from St. Louis and elsewhere assisted at Bearcat Gateway Campground near Lesterville. A building collapsed in the flooding waters. 10 to 17 people were rescued from rooftops of elevated areas. All accounted for were no serious injuries or reported for those people that were rescued. Which is good, because once that water grabs you, you start going down those rapids, and it starts ragdolling you in the rocks and trees and a car and whatever the hell else was down there. Bunch of syringes from the crackheads, who knows? The campsite was evacuated, roads inundated in a rare 1 in 1,000 year flood. Flood events in the same spot, additional rain possible into the weekend too. So it could be more flooding and more people who are at risk. Additionally, rain possible. National Weather Service issued a higher level flash flood warning in the area. They said, turn around, don't drown, don't try to forge places or try to go over them. Because the feed went down, so that's the back of my spaceship. See, look. This is what it looks like. See, look. This is my spaceship screen. And then I lift up the other screens and it's like this. Or like this. I'm not a big fan of stupid people myself.
We are able to get cell service working in an area where it can show you exactly what we're seeing. We're on Highway 21, right next to Lesterville. This right here behind me is the Black River, and you can just see how high it is. We're actually standing on the bridge. I'm gonna flip the camera around right here, because on the other side of this bridge right here, if I can zoom in, you can see there's a horse stuck in the water right here. First responders working to figure out how to get through this water. We also know there are reports of a family stuck on this side of the bridge. The Reynolds County Sheriff tells me that there is a family stuck in the water on that side of the bridge. And I want to show you again the Black River here, how high it is. That Reynolds County Sheriff tells me the water is actually continuing to rise. And on this side of the bridge over here, this is the Twin Rivers Landing. This is a campground. We have a lot of campers that have been evacuated from this campground already, but we do know now at this point in time there is at least 47 campers trapped at the bottom of this hill right here in the campground as that water continues to rise. They're in somewhat of a market, is what I'm told, somewhat of the area where you might check into a campground. That is where they are staying right now as the waters continue to rise. Obviously, very scary here in Reynolds County. Like I said, Sheriff confirming that there are several water rescues currently happening. We have the family on this side and then those several dozen campers on this side of the bridge over this Black River right now, and water is continuing to rise. We're going to continue to stay here on scene as the water does continue to rise. We're going to try and talk to people, hear the stories, but you can only imagine how scary this morning has been for the past several hours, just having to deal with the water continuing to rise. Mo.
Yeah, I tell you what, Haley, first of all, just listening to the water rushing around you, that's frightening itself. Of course, we're hearing about the campers. On your drive down with you and Sam, when you see all the flooding across the roadways, how was it just traveling, just in general, just to try to get to the location that you're at right now?
Yeah, you can definitely tell there's been some swelling of creeks on the way down here. We could see debris from past water that had been over the highways still in the roadway. We're talking about tree limbs and just other kind of vegetation debris still covering those roadways where water was over the roadways. That water has since receded, but coming down here, the further we got into Iron County and now into Reynolds County is where we're still seeing water over the roadways here. And like I can't really explain how much water, because you kind of have to see it with your own eyes, but there's a horse stuck in the water right here, unable to move. That's how high this water has gotten in Reynolds County. And like I just said earlier, the sheriff says this water is only going to continue to rise. Mo.
Yeah, that is our Haley Kirby. She's down in Reynolds County. Of course, really a dire situation when you're talking about those campers being stuck. Haley, thank you so much. We'll check back in with you a little bit later.
Some areas south of here getting up to a foot of rain. The flash flooding has led to close to 100 water rescues.
And many of those rescues were in Lesterville, about 2 hours south of St. Louis. Officials just wrapped up a news conference on those efforts. Fox 2's Chad Mira has been in Lesterville all day and has the latest on the situation there. Chad.
A very busy day for a lot of first responders out here. We're just outside of their command posts, and if you look around, we've seen crews from all over the area. Just in this row here, you got West Plains, City of Cape Girardeau, Boone County across from me there, and then down the way, crews are setting up. They're unloading water and food. First responders will be essentially camping out here for the weekend as they continue to assist with heavy responsibilities. So many water rescues today, more than 90 at one point, and search and rescue operations were still underway. At this point right now, we've seen Black Hawk helicopters starting to come into the area. We're told that they are flying to and from a local campground where 160 people were camping out, mostly children, about 100 children, 60 adults, and they're safe there at the campground, but no way to get in and out. So there are Black Hawk helicopters who are going to be running here for several hours, carrying all those people back here to safety. There is a reunification center set up for anybody trying to reconnect with a loved one in the area. For a lot of the day, the highway to Lesterville was shut down. People couldn't get in and out of that town, so we ran into a number of people along Highway 21 just waiting to see when they could get even into town to check on maybe their parents or family members as well. The Missouri State Highway Patrol talked to us a little bit ago, though, and they had an important message for people that if you need help, give them a call.
If you need help or need to rescue, someone's called you and said they're stranded, we ask that you do not self-deploy in attempting to assist. We ask that you contact the St. Francis County Dispatch at 573-431-3131.
Couple updates I want to give you. At the top of the 4 o'clock hour, we were talking about how a building collapsed at a nearby campground, sent about close to 20 people back into the floodwaters late this afternoon. We were told just a little bit ago, all those people have been accounted for. They are safe, and that's truly the incredible part of today. With all the people who needed rescuing, we have been told of no fatalities or even any serious injuries. However, there are still 5 people reported missing from Reynolds County, so efforts continue to locate those people, and first responders are on hand all night, well into the weekend, to try and help out any way they can. Reporting in Reynolds County, Chad Mira, Fox 2 News.
And Chad, we heard at the press conference about that building collapse. It's great to hear they've accounted for everyone, but these rescue teams have been running into some issues out on the water themselves.
Yeah, no, that is to say the least. I mean, these waters are moving fast, and they got to put a boat out on them and go through campgrounds and brush. You don't know what you're running over. At one point, 2 rescue boats actually capsized. The first responders thrown into the water themselves. Luckily, they were all pulled to safety as well. Even about an hour ago, though, I heard there was still a member of a rescue team stranded out amongst the floodwaters. They know he's safe. He's going to be all right. But that is still someone they need to go and retrieve and get them back here to the command post where they know they're safe. We can, before I let you guys go, we see a helicopter flying in right now. So Stan David's going to show you what we're looking at. And this has been kind of the cycle we've seen for the past hours. These Black Hawk helicopters have started to come into town. They've been flying over. We're by an area high school in Arcadia. They've been flying over us here and landing in a field nearby, and then taking off again and heading back out to the campgrounds where we know there are still dozens and dozens of people looking to make it home.
Chad Mira in Lesterville, thanks so much for that update.
Yep, it's just deep in the store. I've never seen it that high.
And this is a scene in Stillville where a Hoosa Valley resort is dealing with flood water. In a social media post, the resort says if you have reservations for camping, lodging, or floating today or tomorrow, do not call the office. They will contact you about your reservation.
Floodwaters also pouring into Johnson Shut-in State Park in Reynolds County. The flooding also downed trees, forcing crews to shut down Highway N for a few hours.
Well, Missouri Task Force 1 has deployed their team that specializes in swift water rescues to the
That is a lot of water moving.
Ours is the same. Ours probably that's fine. Ours. This one is a little blue.
Yeah, yours is just because the way it's sitting, the way that current was going, it was going to hit it from the side there. The sides. The sides? We got it right away.
Catastrophic flash floods struck Missouri after relentless overnight rainfall overwhelmed Reynolds County and surrounding communities. Lesterville, Annapolis, Johnson Shut-ins, and the Black River Corridor suffered widespread flooding, damaged infrastructure, and major emergency operations. Emergency rescue teams responded across Lesterville, Annapolis, and the Black River Corridor after fast-rising water-trapped campers and residents. The Johnson Shut-ins area became one of the busiest locations as swift water rescues continued throughout the day.
Jesus. That's horrible.
There's big blocks here, so I think we have to wait for the water to go all the way down.
It might continue through the weekend, too.
Going on over there. One of the flight officials are
Be careful out there today, friends, and remember, turn around, don't drown.
Yeah, that's not a street anymore. That's a river.
Twin Rivers Campground, Bearcat Hideaway, and River's Edge Campground were overwhelmed after flood waters surged overnight. Campers near Lesterville and the Black River required emergency evacuations as dangerous currents surrounded campsites and access roads. Transportation was severely disrupted across Black, Lesterville, Annapolis, and surrounding Reynolds County communities. Highway 49 near Black, Missouri suffered major washout damage while numerous county roads and low water crossings disappeared beneath floodwaters.
This is what we had to drive through last night. Yes, it was in this condition. Bradley was driving. I am not okay. We all made it out okay. That's all that matters.
A monsoon of baboons.
Here's Stillville at Church Street right now. The water is over that bridge.
Homes and businesses along the Black River corridor experienced extensive flooding as water continued rising. Lesterville, Annapolis, Johnson shut-ins, and nearby rural communities reported property damage, flooded streets, and dangerous travel conditions. Rapidly rising water pushed the Black River toward moderate flood levels near Annapolis. Communities including Lesterville, Annapolis, Johnson's shut-ins, and nearby Black River neighborhoods remained under continued flood threats as river levels increased.
Couple hours will be flooded in. Authorities warned residents across Lesterville, Annapolis, Black, Centerville, and Reynolds County to avoid flooded roads completely. Officials stressed that rapidly moving water remained extremely dangerous as emergency responders continued working across affected communities. Emergency shelters welcomed displaced residents from Lesterville, Annapolis, Centerville, and nearby Reynolds County communities. Families forced from flooded homes received temporary shelter, while emergency crews continued rescue and recovery operations across the region. Recovery efforts continued throughout Lesterville, Annapolis, Johnson Shut-ins, Black, Centerville, Reynolds County, and Iron County. Officials warned that additional rainfall could worsen flooding, increase property damage, and delay rescue and cleanup operations. Between 7 and 11 inches of rain fell across Reynolds County within only a few hours. Lesterville, Annapolis, northeastern Reynolds County, southern Iron County, and northwestern Iron County were inundated as floodwaters rapidly spread.
Keo sent me a thing of protesting out in front of the Tesla restaurant. Does anyone really want to watch that? Anyone care about that? I don't care about it.
Expected over the weekend, dozens had to be rescued from rushing floodwaters, and for several hours, a group of campers was missing, but they're all safe and sound tonight. Missouri is not facing this rain threat alone. More than 20 million people in at least 14 states from Colorado to Pennsylvania are under flood watches through tomorrow. Meteorologist Rob Marciano leads us off tonight with powerful images from the flood zone.
An early morning deluge in the Show Me State, turning streets into rivers, campgrounds into waterways, and sending people scrambling for higher ground.
I'm going, it was going to hit it from the side there.
Campgrounds throughout the state evacuated. This group of campers standing on the roof of vehicles. In Reynolds County, south of St. Louis, emergency responders conducted more than 90 water rescues. The flash flooding posing a danger to first responders, too.
That's scary. No.
This video appears to show state highway patrol officers abandoning their boat after it struck a submerged power line. Authorities say they're still searching for people after a building collapsed. The number of missing could fluctuate in the coming days.
That must have been shocking.
The sudden burst of rain overtaking this dam in Missouri's Black River. An aerial view shows a widespread flooding across the river's banks. The flooding has led to several road closures, and the water is reaching the rooftops of some homes. The National Weather Service has declared flash flooding in multiple states.
The water's just going to keep coming up. You got to come out.
Body cam footage showed the moment rescuers helped a resident escape through a car window as floodwaters continued to rise in New Jersey Thursday. Officials continued to warn residents to seek higher ground immediately. The governor of Missouri declaring a state of emergency and urging residents to stay vigilant. The water is still high, and now we've got a severe weather threat on top of what they've had today. So let's get right to the maps and show you where that is. Flood warning remains in effect for Annapolis because of that high water, over 12 inches of it falling in spots, and water rescues possibly ongoing there with this severe weather threat coming in for the northern part of the state. That watch is in effect until 9 o'clock, and that flood watch stretches all the way through the Ohio River Valley, some of which has been extended into Sunday morning. Tomorrow, the threat for severe weather is in southeast Missouri, through the heartland, Paducah, Louisville, Evansville, damaging winds, large hail, and yes, some flash flooding. Meanwhile, the heat's the real deal with all this water, another 2 to 5 inches potentially across the Tennessee Valley. Extreme heat warnings continue across the southeast, including Charleston, and look at the northern Rockies. Extreme heat warnings there with temperatures getting up and over 100 degrees tomorrow, potentially seeing all-time record-breaking highs in places like Billings, potentially as high as 111. That is some major, dangerous heat. Major?
Rob Marciano, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Doctor. So again, that storm might be getting a lot worse coming days, so we'll keep an eye on that. No, I don't think they're oh, never mind. So I don't think they're dehydrated. I think they're very hydrated.
The high rise that started buckling this week. That high rise, it is in Midtown, one of the most densely populated parts of the city. Some perspective here on just where the instability in the building is. In the red there is the new addition that's under construction. You can see that. And then the yellow part is the 21st floor where the structural columns are buckling.
If you look here, this is the spot that this building was never designed to actually have, that somebody decided it was a good idea to add. If you see here, this is where the building, again, that was never designed to hold this, starts to buckle and collapse. And if I go and circle the entire building, this is everything that's going to fall to the ground.
Now we're learning some new details about the developer for this project and the multi-million-dollar lawsuit he is facing on a different project. CNN's Gloria Pazmino is here with the details on that. What are you learning?
Yeah, John. Well, first, let's talk about the work that's been done to stabilize the building. As you said, workers have been working, frankly, around the clock to make sure that this building can be shored up. And what they've done in the past few days is actually installed more beams all the way from the 9th floor all the way to the underside of the roof. They want.
Now, she seems like that's a great idea. Now, me, I'm not an architect, but I do know a thing or two about building structures, right? And I do know a thing or two about machines and mechanics. And when you start adding a lot of weight to something in areas it was never meant to, I'm guessing, now, again, speculation here, I'm guessing you would not want to start at the 9th floor. I would say you probably want to start lowest as possible, right? And yeah, that was a good movie, Randy. You want to start as low as possible to get the beams in there and structural integrity, then work your way up said building, right? And then you want to get to where that said parts of this building is, and then store, put stuff on top of it. What I think is going to end up happening is they're going to get it to a good enough stage and then leave. And in a couple years, if not sooner, they're going to be like, holy shit, the building is collapsing. And people are going to be like, well, we never saw this coming. The thing is, we did see it coming. No one did a goddamn thing to stop it. So, yeah, kicking the can down the road, that's all it's really doing. I think it's going to get a lot worse. Her being all super happy. They installed stuff on the 9th floor. I'm pretty sure there's probably a basement and a sub-basement and another sub-basement that has no goddamn supports and no one ever put anything on. And when that building starts getting a high windstorm and starts rocking and rolling, that added weight's probably not going to be very good.
Want to make sure that all of this new weight that was put on top of this building can actually be held up. That's what they've been doing. Now, Metro
by putting on more weight from the 9th floor up. Okay, great. Awesome.
Which is the developer at this building,
has
said that operation is going as planned,
do what they're told.
And they believe they're going to be able to continue building and that their deadline is going to be met on this project. But I think from speaking with city officials and knowing what the Department of Buildings has said about this, that really doesn't seem to be the case, that they're going to be able to start just building quickly to meet the demands of this project, considering the safety concerns and making sure that this project is stable. In the meantime, as you said, we have learned new information about Metro Loft. They are facing litigation at another project on Greenwich Street down in Tribeca, where the owners have sued Metro Loft for dangerous conditions. They redid a 19th century factory, converted it into luxury apartments, and the residents of that building have sued, saying that conditions are dangerous and that these renovations were not done in the way that they were expecting or supposed to have been made. In the meantime, attorneys for Metroloft have denied the allegations. This is a $300 million lawsuit, and Metroloft is declining to comment further. I do think it's worth mentioning.
The lawsuit's going to be a lot worse with all the people that die in that building. Just saying, $300 million is going to look like a drop in the bucket.
At the end of the day, there is a lot of money at stake here, both for the developers that are trying to build this building, and as we see, they have other litigation problems happening in other projects. And the question here is, when will this be able to get off the ground? They have a deadline to meet, and a lot of housing.
Lady, it's already off the ground. That's the problem. It's very much up in the air. That's the bigger issue. The bigger issue is that you took a building that was never meant to have that. No one's talking about the entire structural integrity down to the base. And now you're adding more and more weight on top of it. By fixing it, you added even more weight by putting more structural supports through it, hoping that the structural supports are where you want them, right? Now, I could say there's probably architects out there that could rebuild this building and make sure it's not going to fall. And if you put $300 million into it, it would probably fix it. But I'm going to say all the way down to the bedrock, you're not putting stuff, and saying you started off the 9th floor, which is kind of weird, that you just arbitrarily chose that floor to start and not go all the way down to the ground level, right?
Units to deliver.
Yeah, there's a lot of money at stake, but also safety and people's lives at stake too. Gloria Pazmino, thank you very much for sharing all your new reporting on this.
The mayor of New York City says a Manhattan high-rise is now stable after structural columns buckled on Tuesday. Zohran Mamdani said,
"Look at that! Like seriously, look at that! I'm gonna zoom this in. Just take a look at that." That's not like a little structural problem. Those are literally support beams that are bending due to the weight that they added. Yeah, it's not a renovation, it's an addition. And it's a huge, multi-million pound addition.
says that crews are adding more shoring and beam.
If that was me and I walked there and saw that, I'm quitting.
Today, though there's been no additional movement since yesterday morning. The building is being converted from an office space into apartments, and this incident highlights the many challenges this type of renovation can present. CNN business writer Samantha DeLuya joins me now, and you've been writing about this. You point out that office to apartment conversions have surged since the pandemic, and it's definitely a way that you get those desperately needed homes into a city like this. But as we saw in the last couple of days, not without its complications, this is not an easy task.
Absolutely, Paula. These apartment or these office to apartment conversions have really exploded in popularity in cities all across the country, especially in New York, due to the fact that these older office buildings have sort of fallen out of fashion with the rise of remote and hybrid work. And it's seen as a great way to get more housing into a city like New York, which faces a dire housing shortage. But as you can see from the emergency yesterday,
I feel like this woman's jaw is going to unhinge and she's going to eat another person next to her. But besides that, it's probably going to be all Section 8 housing. It's probably going to be low-income housing right now because the rich people are going to look at the news and be like, no.
There are complications with these builds, and that's because offices are not designed to be livable spaces, and the interior work that needs to be done to kind of make it work is...
So, look at that, right? So this building, you could see where the addition was. That is a lot of addition, right? Now, again, whoever designed this building never at any point had a thought some idiot was going to come by and be like, well, if we make it a big rectangle up in the air, it'll be better.
extremely complicated, and it often requires rebuilding and reworking the layouts, ensuring that there's enough natural light coming in. That can sometimes mean cutting into the middle of the building. And so, in this specific...
Yeah, that's normal. Every big building, you just take a saw and just start cutting off stuff. Perfectly normal. You know what I do when I'm doing construction in a house? I don't give a shit where the support beams are. I just go out there ham on it with a saw. Who gives a shit? Right? We really want that open floor plan.
Project, it was a former Pfizer.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 floors, give or take, if I counted correctly.
Headquarters, and they are adding 19 stories on top of one of the 2 high-rises that is involved in this project. That, architects warn me, is extremely heavy. And
No shit, lady! They warn you it's extremely heavy. Yeah, because it is. 19. I miscounted. 19. 19 floors.
And it often requires rebuilding and reworking the layouts, ensuring that there's enough natural light coming in. That can sometimes mean cutting into the middle of the building. And so...
For the light. Got to get that open floor plan, right? Can't have not light, can't have artificial light. Got to be able to get all that natural light in there. Got to be able to feel good about yourself.
Yeah, in this specific project, it was a former Pfizer headquarters, and they are adding 19
I wonder if Pfizer has something going on right now that they need to start liquidating assets rather quickly.
Stories on top of one of the 2 high-rises that is involved in this project. That, architects warn me, is extremely heavy. And these columns that you see here seem to have buckled under being overstressed from the weight of that addition.
And in fact, you had an architect who said that when he saw the plan, he thought this perhaps was not prudent.
I'm pretty sure there's architects out there shitting their pants and asking, what in the ever-living Christ are you doing? And why are you doing it?
Yes, exactly. So, a lot of the older office buildings that were pre-war are ideal for these kind of conversions because they're smaller. Actually, larger doesn't always equal better. This Pfizer building is incredibly ambitious as a project to convert to apartments. That's because it's so big. It's actually the biggest undertaking of one of these conversions in New York City's history, according to the architects on the project. But bigger means that you need to have enough natural light getting in. So you can't have apartments in the middle of the floor plan. So it's kind of figuring out how to make sure there's enough natural light. You have to rework plumbing, you have to rework HVAC systems, because every unit obviously needs bathrooms, kitchens, natural light, like you said.
Wait, more weight. Let's add more weight. Did I mention more weight?
Heating and cooling air systems. So yeah, this is an incredibly complicated.
Hey, jackass, where are those AC units going to go to get that building cooler? I don't think you're going to take a bunch of mini splits and bolt them to the outside of each apartment like they do in Asia or India or any other third world country, right? That's it. If they had more weight, they could pancake some of the floors down, and they don't have to worry about it at all.
Project.
Sam, Julia, thank you for filling us in on that. Again, some of these conversions will go on not just in New York City, but all over the United States and beyond. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Now to New York City, where crews are working to stabilize a high-rise that experienced structural damage during a massive renovation project. Construction workers have installed shoring and beams on several floors to try to reinforce that building. CNN's Omar Jimenez is there.
There are a few major dynamics we are following.
There we go. We'll tie big helium balloons and take the weight off. You know what they need to do, scum? You gave me a good idea. What they really need for this to work. And now, this might be a little crazy, but I think they could do it if they try hard enough, is an orbital tether so that as this thing goes around the planet, right, in synchronous orbit and is in space, this big cable pulls it out towards space, relieving it.
Right now. First and foremost, we have heard from city officials they believe the building is stable, which is of course the most important considering this is in one of the busiest portions of New York City in the middle of Midtown Manhattan. So the threat of either a partial collapse or otherwise was on the tops of minds of many people here, especially as buildings were being evacuated in the surrounding area for safety. Some of those residents have been able to get back into their buildings, but still 4 of those buildings remain under evacuation warnings. So that's one aspect of things. The second aspect comes from the mayor in terms of wanting a rigorous investigation here to figure out what went wrong. To review for people, it was Tuesday morning. That was when officials first started getting reports of structural issues at this building, a former Pfizer headquarters being turned into residential units. That's when we saw some of those images of those.
Do you know how much I'm guessing people in the audience do know, but do you know how much force it takes to bend a steel beam like that? Like, the amount of force, like, I don't know if people can fathom how much pressure is on that building right now to bend beams like that.
Bent beams that, of course, prompted so much concern for people, not just in this immediate area, but across the entire city and beyond as well. And so that's when crews, of course, made it a priority to come.
Like, look at that. Look at how many shoring things they had to put in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beams bolted up. And then those things on the other side, those are jacks, right? Those are support jacks that you can put in. Now, I don't see any hydraulic system in here pushing back up on it. But to bend a beam out that much, that is huge, right? That is giant. And they haven't gotten the storm yet. They haven't got any high winds coming through yet. That's going to start rocking and rattling that building, right? Because the other thing is, you know, skyscrapers are actually made to slightly bend, right? Because you want them to be able to take some force. But now they're going to do it and change the structural integrity of the building. And it's probably not going to be able to do that anymore. The bent beams look like non-load rated drywall holders. Well, that's even more terrifying. Oh, you don't think it's a solid? You might be right. I don't think it is a solid beam, maybe. Strap it to the other building to hold it up. Yeah, like when you try to get a tree from bending. Yeah, the whole thing's been compromised.
And do some of the work that we've seen over the course of today as well, really just trying to emergency stabilize portions, shoring beams, basically getting it to the point where crews can get in there safely and assess on what to do to move forward. Now, we're also hearing from the developer of this building, Metro Loft, who put out a statement pushing back on some of the risk that's been assessed just even by people walking down the street here, saying that this is a localized issue, a situation affecting less than 30 apartments out of over 1,600. And the statement emphasizes at no time was the building or any portion of it at risk of collapse.
Oh, yeah, we're going to believe you, fucko. Like, you're the guy trying to sell people on the building, right? Yeah, all right. Let's listen to the guy trying to sell me. Everything's great. I'm not a slumlord. The rest of my buildings aren't built like half-ass pieces of crap, right? It's just this one. Just this one. The one that I went and found the lowest bidder, that was my yes man, and it probably ripped me off when I said, hey, I want to add more rooms to this. How do I do it? And he said, just keep giving me more money, and I'll make it happen. Yeah, I'm going to say that building is foobarred. I'm going to say that the amount of force that has gone through it has structurally destroyed it, right? This isn't like Star Trek, where you could pull out some magical device and lo and behold, the goddamn thing starts working again. That's not going to be a thing. You can't go through there in like, in like what was that? Battlestar Galactica, and spray foam nanites on it that they're going to repair it. No, like that's not a thing. The metal is now weakened, right? And it's only going to take one strong fart and that whole thing's going to come falling down. Yeah, look at all those freaking jacks, right? You're going to leave the jacks in there, right? Just in case? He's good. He's good. We don't need, it's fine. No one needs to move. It's good. You're just going to keep welding more shit into it and add more weight? And that's not even, right? That's not even with the people inside. That is not a full building of people yet. That is not somebody putting on their couch, stereo systems, beds, furniture, washer, dryer, toilets, bathtubs, water that's going to fill up all those things, water pressure, AC units, couple of gallons of JB Weld. Maybe duck the whole building in it. One day that piece of shit's going to fall down on someone. Yeah. Hey, can you sign this piece of paper that says if you get squished, it's not our fault? Yeah, random stuff that gets hoarded. Someone's 50-gallon drum of lube. So is NYC going to take possession of the building? Yeah, and then people are like, oh no, it's fine. Don't believe the news. Don't believe all these architects are saying this is kind of bad. No, just ignore it, everybody. It's absolutely A-okay. A-okay. It's fine. Fine. Stop looking over here. It's fine. Stop thinking it's going to collapse. It's fine. Ignore all the hobos we have holding up the building. It's fine. And again, why only the 9th floor? Why aren't you going to the basement and structurally start there and work your way up, right? Like, why wouldn't you start at the base of the building and then check load bearing that it's going to hold? Yeah, what about the guy who gets like 500-pound fat chicks in there and all of a sudden the building collapses? It's good. No need to worry. It's good. I really want to know the architect that came in there and said this was a good idea, right? Because, like, I really wish my model had movable hands so you could see me, like, rubbing my face at how terrible this is, right? That is, how many jacks is that? That is 8? 12? 12 jacks plus 5, I don't know, hopefully those are solid. Those probably not, those probably pipes. It's good, it's good. Natural sway, good. Yeah, I don't think this is up to code. I really like that piece of wood that's nailed up to the top there. I don't know what the hell that goes to. You know, the piece of wood that's right underneath that big heavy ass beam. Built by engineers at ChatGPT. Holy mother. And like, if any of you worked construction and you walked in and this is what you saw, would you stick around? I think I would look in there and ask, why the hell are we even allowed up here? And get the hell out. I did not see what you said about the fault lines in NYC. I asked for hazard pay. Hey, when one of these beams falls and crushes my leg and I have to get it amputated, you guys gonna pay for it? I would not have gotten that close. You know what's funny? It looks like the jack is broke actually in this one. On the one on the where it says NYC building. If you look at the jack closest to that, well, what we either call a support beam or a drywall anchor, is it me or does one of those look like it's cracked? And now I'm looking at this more. It looks like some of the water pipes are at some really weird angles too now. If I saw those bending, I would evacuate my house. Who's shitting here? Sorry, that was me. I had to go. The ceiling looks uneven. Well, that's because it is. How much weight do you think is on top of that? How many millions of pounds?
These images posted by New York City's Department of Buildings show critical new temporary supports crews worked feverishly to install. City leaders say they've made significant progress in stabilizing the former corporate office building, now being converted into condos that showed possible signs of collapse Tuesday.
Hold on.
City leaders say they've made significant progress in stabilizing the former corporate office.
That looks uneven. All that looks super uneven. Looks like one of the windows fell out too because of the shifting of the building. But if you look at it, why does one side look a lot smaller than the other side?
This building now being converted into.
And why does this one look like it's Boeing? I don't know. I feel like somebody made a bunch of really bad mistakes. The 125th fault, the Dykeman Street fault, and the Mashulo fault, the East River fault, the Rampo fault, all sites below New York City, and some run into the Bronx. Which one's run underneath this building?
Condos that showed possible signs of collapse.
And again, I'm trying to find a point of reference because to me, this looks like that part on top from the opening is bowing in already. And then it looks like down below where those windows used to be, that whole line is also bowing.
Tuesday after two support beams on the 21st floor buckled.
Temporary shoring and beams have been completely installed on floors 18 through 23.
You look a little sweating there, buddy. Is it hot outside? Or are you worried that you're going to be blamed for this?
And additional ensuring beams will be added throughout the day.
Mayor Zohran Mamdani says the building has not moved since Tuesday.
We're getting reports from the construction.
How do you know? How does he know? You know how the only way you're going to be able to tell is you're going to have to measure a bunch of different points. And if you're removing and adding supports, it's moving. It has to move.
Construction that two columns buckled on the 21st floor. Have all special units continuing and the building is evacuated.
The serious scare happening in bustling Midtown Manhattan, just blocks from Grand Central Station, forcing evacuations and the creation of a frozen zone stretching 5 blocks, upending life for many.
We got relocated. My son hasn't been able to move into his apartment, so it's been a little difficult.
Just exhausted, but thankful that nothing bad happened, that we're okay.
Mayor Mamdani says the number of evacuated buildings now down to just 4, including a partially vacated ground floor restaurant. So far, there's no clear explanation of what caused the issue. The Department of Buildings only saying the investigation into the cause of the structural failure is underway, and DOB has not made any determination.
We don't know why it happened. We have no idea. Could it be the added weight? Just FYI, could it be the added weight to the building and them cutting up stuff? Just saying. Again, I'm no architect, but I do know how shit works.
On the actual cause. The building's developer, Metro Loft, writing in a statement, "We have identified the issue and developed a clear plan to fix it," adding, "At no time was..."
Then what was the issue? If Madami's over here saying, we don't know how it did it, you guys are saying, you know what the issue is? Obviously, you aren't talking to each other, and there is some inspector getting paid off.
Building or any portion of it at risk of collapse. As teams finish shoring up the skyscraper, the mayor says there have thankfully been no injuries.
It's an inconvenience to me, but you live in New York City, you're ready for anything.
Sure should be. Let's talk next steps here. According to the mayor, as soon as the emergency work and reinforcement efforts are completed, the Department of Buildings is going to conduct a, quote, rigorous assessment of the plans and the site. And when asked if he has any concerns in the future about converting office buildings to residential housing, Mamdani said he still sees it as part of the answer to the city's housing crisis, as long as it's done safely and with accountability. And clearly there's a lot of questions that still need to be answered here.
Yeah.
Sam, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey,
Hey, thank you. Yeah, that's great, guys. We're happy nobody here actually gave any answers whatsoever. What's going on? You know, maybe reassuring people about what they're doing. But right now, just FYI, the reassurance that they put is temporary struts. Oh, yeah, and that's it. Have they said anything else? No. Have they said any permanent things? No. Temporary struts. That's the only thing they brought up. And then said the problem is being looked at and worked on. That's it. That's it. It's, if I was the building inspector, I would probably be like, you are not putting that piece of shit, staying like that. That's not happening. Sorry. Oh, it's going to cost this much money. Well, tough shit. Maybe you should have thought about that beforehand. Maybe you should have got someone who wasn't, had the head up their own ass. Just saying, right? That would have been a good idea to kind of think about prior to doing this. Now we're going to demolish it. You're going to have to pay to have it demolished. You can rebuild whatever the hell you want. I don't give a shit. We're going to lose all this money in business. I don't care. Because again, if you're the building inspector, right? Your ass is on the line. You're the one that gets blamed. They're going to ask you, hey, why didn't you do that? I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe it wasn't even, well, you know what it is? Someone got paid off. That's probably what it's going to be about. Like temporary protected status. Yeah. Folks, again, this show is sponsored by wonderful people like you. We got $10 in the till. If we can get up to 50, that would be spectacular. I know we can do it. I know you're one of the best audiences out there. You can make sure it happens. Also go to trapperoutdoors.com if you guys haven't already went and picked out a bunch of stuff. We're trying to sell 10 big ticket items by the end of the month. You can do it. Don't make Bez have to do it. He's going broke, making sure this American is able to have a roof on his head. Let me see if Fox or somebody else brought somebody in. So, mind you, and if you guys want to know how to donate, it's that Linktree link right there, or hit exclamation point, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, whatever. All those other good things that pop up. If you're still not sure, somebody in chat can help you. So, according to this one, though,
since arriving on scene, we have witnessed additional movement in one of the compromised columns. DOB engineers have been investigating with FDNY drones.
So, again, that was right when it was happening. Let's do that again.
Arriving on scene, we have witnessed additional movement in one of the compromised...
So, it didn't just move once and stop. It still kept going. Controlled Demolition Incorporated.
Columns. DOB engineers have been investigating with FDNY drones. This is an extremely serious situation.
Breaking right now, a Midtown Manhattan high-rise is possibly on the verge of collapsing entirely after crews discovered support beams that were bending and floors buckling.
What was that?
Bending and floors buckling.
So it's not just two pillars. Their whole floors are buckling.
21 years, and I've never seen a beam bent in half. So this is super dangerous.
Hey, thank you very much for the $10 reviews. Appreciate you. Actually,
Joy I 1K donated $10 through Super Chat. Loyal lurker. Super Chat has just tipped $15.
Stevie Cotton's on the scene. I hope staying a healthy distance
25
away from
years.
the building
First one he's ever
itself.
seen.
Stevie, what can you
that
tell
should
us?
warn you.
Okay, Jillian, so at a news conference moments ago, city officials...
Oh, what will happen if it collapses? Well, let me tell you. So what will happen is one of the floors will let go, and the sheer force will pancake into the next one. And just like a domino effect, it will just start going down. Now, if they're really, 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 really lucky, it will do it in its own footprint, but probably not. Now, as it does this, that amount of force has to go somewhere, right? So that force is going to go outwards to the easiest direction possible. So not only is it collapsing, but it's shooting stuff out in every direction like a hand grenade. And again, that's if they're really lucky and it does it in its own footprint. Otherwise, it's going to fall into a whole nother building.
Officials said the 38-story building still under construction behind me is still shifting, and that this is a dangerous situation. But these city officials suggested that the worst case scenario would be a localized collapse and not a full collapse. So, Jillian, I want to step out of the way, give you a better view. My photographer is going to zoom in so you can see the building. It's got some boarded up windows. We don't know what caused this, but fire crews rushed over after a report.
So it was shifting. So this was 3 days ago. It was shifting already. Floors were buckling. Now on the other two news things we saw, though, they didn't mention that, right? What they did mention is that some poles bent, and that's it. Yeah, after all, why not?
Reports of falling bricks at around 8 a.m. this morning. Inside, workers started to notice support columns buckling, and that's when crews immediately evacuated the building that is being converted from a former office space into a residential apartment building. Thankfully, all those workers are safe. Fire officials say the buckled support columns caused floors between the 21st and 26th stories to sag, and authorities quickly cleared out several nearby buildings, including a hotel and a school.
This promise has just tipped $10. Dopamine Fund.
Wow, it's really weird, right? If it's going to be a collapse and it's going to be very minor, why are you evacuating so many people? Why is it still evacuate around it?
Evacuated for the people in the building to evacuate for safety precaution. I was worried, very worried for my staff and for everybody that was in the building because we have a full house.
Jesus, Baz.
Police have also
verge of collapsing entirely after crews discovered support beams that were bending.
So even Fox News Canada said, hey, they're worried about it collapsing entirely.
Around 8 a.m. this morning. Inside, workers started to notice support columns buckling, and that's when crews immediately evacuated the building that is being converted from a former office space into a residential apartment building.
So this place was never meant to deal with the weight that they're going to be adding into it even more now, right? So office buildings, right? You have desks, chairs, big open areas, usually some offices, whatever, right? Generally, that's it. Maybe you have a few executive offices, which they'll reinforce. What's up, Sean? Which they'll reinforce. Did you get it from Trappers? If not, you could have gotten a discount. Which they'll reinforce for like the bathtub, right? Because the bathtub being, I don't know how many gallons to put in there, but, or a shower, or whatever else, right? Speaking of plumbers, so Comrade's a plumber, and we're not even to the HVAC yet, right? So if you start adding to a building, and now you're starting to add bedrooms and bathrooms, right? And if you were a plumber walking in there, and they told you prior that this building, like, as you could see it bowing, because the walls were collapsing, would you add any more weight to it via water? Add 1,000 pounds for a tub. Jesus Christ. Okay, so that's not even talking about the fatty inside of it, right? So you got 1,000 pounds plus a person. And now how many you're going to put on there? Let's say you're going to be adding 10 of them. That's 10,000 pounds, right? And that's not including the people. That's not including the sinks. That's not including the toilet. How much does the toilet weigh? Hey, boss, why is the beam folding? ¿Por qué? Looks over. Oh, no bueno. No, evacuate. All the pipes for each bathroom, the water running through each, 200 pounds, right? So 200 pounds, and we consider 200 pounds is what we consider a person. All right. So 1,000 pounds plus 200 plus what was the toilet? Toilet's 100 pounds. 100 pounds. Okay. So we're up to already 1,300 pounds that I bet you they have not accounted for. Mafia payoff? I think the Italians over there would be like, oh no, some whales could weigh 600 pounds. So let's just say, once you get everything in that building, washer and dryer, if they have their own washer and dryer, they're probably going to be slums, so probably not. Dishwasher, maybe. Oven, refrigerator, right? Refrigerator's a couple 100 pounds. A vanity, right? I'm going to say, probably when everything's said and done, and people can verify with me or this, at least 5,000 pounds per apartment added. Once you start at, well, you know, I'm not even counting the drywall, the carpet, the flooring, acoustic tiling. So let's say each of these they add, again, and this is a very, let's say this is a very low estimate. Let's say 5,000 to 6,000 pounds per apartment. So 5,000. And let's just say we even add that by floors. So that's 20, right? So 5,000 times 20. And let's say we're doing, I don't know, 10,000 pounds or 10 apartments per floor, which I bet you is a very, 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 very conservative estimate. I'm going to guess each of those floors are going to be up to what? 20? 30 maybe per floor? 10 to 20 per floor? Lost my train of thought. 5,000 times 20 times 10. Oh, you damn guy, you. I'm using my numpad. My character's freaking out. So that's a million pounds. And that's a very conservative estimate at 1 million more pounds that they're going to be adding to this. And again, that is a rough estimate and a very conservative estimate. I'm going to say probably double or triple that. Right? Who knows? It might be landfill, comrade, to be honest, because it's New York. What year was that building built? I don't know. Let's go see. I'm looking right now. Books are heavy. Yeah. Oh, good Chinese steel. Good for half price. 1960. 1960 to 1962 was a 37-story steel-framed office tower for pharmaceutical company. So, not made for apartments, right? Hey, Larry, how you doing, buddy? How's it feel not having to go to dialysis anymore? I have some bad news for everybody. They're going to add 40 to 45 apartments per floor. Oh boy. Let me redo my math. It's looking bad. It's looking very bad. Oh God. This is looking horrible. Yeah, 4.6 million pounds are gonna add to it. Oh God. Oh, and my math is off. My math is off again because it's not 20 floors we're doing it, it's 37. And now I'm looking at it, it's closer to 8,000 pounds per apartment. So 7 times 5. Because I forgot sheetrock's heavy as shit. No, it's not really that heavy, but it is dense. Times 37. Yeah, 10 million, about 11 million pounds they're going to add to it. So 11 million pounds on top of it. That is not including people. So what is that? My math is screwing up for how many tons that is. 5 point something tons, right? 500,000 tons. What's it going to add to it? Now, again, this is very conservative numbers, but it was always doomed to fail. 101, make sure building structural sound before adding more. Yeah, Cody, exactly. I feel like they, I kind of feel like they missed that. They missed that little part in the engineering class.
Latverian Savage has just tipped $5. Bed sinks, tables, hella kilos cocaine, refrigerator, dead hookers, picture tie rack, more dead hookers.
Are we saying what's inside the building? Thank you for the $5, buddy. Or did you have a hell of a night last night? You're trying to tell us.
All those workers are safe. Fire officials say the buckled support columns caused floors between the 21st and 26th stories to sag, and authorities quickly cleared out several nearby buildings, including a hotel and a school.
They just told us to have our staff evacuated and for the people in the building to evacuate for safety precaution. I was worried, very worried for my staff and for everybody that was in the building because we have a full house.
Police have also shut down a stretch of East 42nd Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenues, creating major traffic disruptions in one of the busiest parts of Manhattan during the morning commute. Despite how dramatic this scene is, again, no injuries have been reported. Everyone working inside the building made it out safely. Investigators are now focused on one key question: what caused those support columns to start buckling? Until engineers can determine the building is structurally sound, this section of Midtown East is expected to remain partially closed with heavy traffic restrictions and an emergency presence in the area. Officials also say multiple engineers are going to be on site throughout this evening, and an investigation is underway to figure out how exactly this happened. Jillian, back to you.
Be sure to like.
Yeah, that building was engineered one way. And that was the way it was supposed to be, right? They go out there and they say, hey, look, this is how we're going to make this building, right? And this is how we're doing it. And we're going to put these support columns and pile drive them into the whatever the hell's under there. We're going to put those inside, right? And then we're going to build the building up from that. they didn't think, hey, later on we should really double or triple secure this, just in case some absolute dumb shit comes through and says, hey, you know what we need to do? We need to add more floors to this, right? And that's the other thing I was mentioning. We haven't even talked to the HVAC units.
Laugh-Barian Savage has just tipped $5. Well, to be fair, Wolfman Donnie and his people would know about the structural integrity of New York high-rises, would they? Wink, wink.
Yes. Well,
we begin
right?
now
Right?
with more
That's a good
breaking
point. You would think, and this is also the Pfizer building. And again, why would Pfizer, a very big company, all of a sudden sell a building? Buildings are really expensive. And why would they sell it to some slumlord dickhead, right? Who's going to put a bunch of apartments in there randomly? And maybe Madami just said, mind if I give a little, pinch and tickle to somebody, they'd let the building go through? Maybe?
This emergency response is underway this hour in Midtown Manhattan. A 38-story building appears now to be on the verge of collapse. Video shows the building's steel columns buckling. Workers on site say they were, quote, bending like cigarettes.
Cliff Johnson is on the scene. He is a business agent for the Steamfitters Local 638. He joins us now. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. Probably a little hard to hear us out there, but we understand the situation. Please do give us an update on what we know.
Get him. He's from the UN. He's got the blue helmet.
At this point.
Well, I don't know if I'd be the best one to give you that information, but what I can tell you is this morning I got a phone call from some of my members on site who were working on the project. The beams were bending, concrete was falling, walls were collapsing, so I covered.
We didn't hear that. We didn't hear all that before in the other ones. That concrete was falling. That means the concrete structurally is falling apart, right? That walls were inside were collapsing. They didn't say that before. I wonder why they didn't interview Homeboy here for the other stuff. But yeah, I agree. I think they should get, as Ahab said, some Vegas demo people who are used to destroying high-rise buildings and rebuilding them. Clearly, you need super glue, and then the building to make it work better. For you get the building to work better, you need to WD-40 all of it, the whole thing. Everybody got a building is left, so it's actively coming down. Yeah, so it is actively floor buckling. So we have, from what we have heard through all of these, we have floor buckling, right? Concrete falling, beams bending, bricks falling out. I don't know where the hell the bricks were, but bricks falling off. And by the way, the bricks fell from the building to the street, FYI. Looking like something out of Ghostbusters. I feel like I'm missing something. 4 beams of bending, 5 concrete walls, and a fucked up building in New York City. That does not work for a long.
The east side of Manhattan for Steamfitters Local 638. So I came over, make sure not only our members, but every construction worker on site was out of the job. And outside and safe and everything. We made sure everybody was outside. So I don't think anyone's going back in this building for a while. This is not something you typically see in New York City. We have one of the best labor forces in the world. So to have a building have steel bending while it's under construction, to me, it's a lack of vetting your contractors. To me, it's a lack of not picking safety over profits.
Wow.
No shit. Hey, boss, we got a problem over here. Some of the beams seem to be bending. Yeah, let me send you a picture. What do you mean I should get the hell out of there quickly? What do you mean this brick's falling off?
Wow. That is quite a statement coming from you, Cliff. This is Jillian. When you arrived on scene this morning, what was your top tier, most urgent priority?
Getting the fuck out, lady.
The most urgent priority is to get every construction worker out of that site and remove everyone that was in the street and remove everyone from there, which the NYPD and the FDNY, I mean, Lord knows we're good at it. So they had everything set, caution taped off, evacuating buildings, and everything went as smooth as it could possibly be. So going forward, you just hope that these contractors use reputable construction and responsible construction in the city of New York, so you don't have to put these people's lives, buildings. You know, we're here for the World Cup.
This is why this guy was not interviewed after this, because he was the only guy speaking the truth. Madami probably told him, "I'm going to pay you to shut up."
You have everyone in the country, and you have New York City under siege over here because it wasn't done correctly. Now, I don't know whether it was an engineer or it was the installation or if it was the concrete or just the building under release settling. You know, I'm not a structural engineer, but I do know that I-beams aren't supposed to bend in half.
Yeah. That is just, it's crazy to think about. And some of these new pictures, the one we just had previously up on the screen, brand new picture provided to us from the FDNY. To your point, Clifford, you just don't see this happen. The mayor of New York City, Mamdani, held a news conference shortly following. He said this on the structure of the building. Listen.
2 structural columns have buckled, in addition to multiple cracks and sagging floors. The building remains unstable. Since arriving on scene, we have witnessed additional movement in one of the compromised columns. First responders.
The building's gonna start sagging like Maya Bass's titties.
And structural engineers are working closely with the project engineer to develop plans to shore up the impacted floor.
So to your point, Clifford, about you just don't see this happen, do you have any theories on why it did?
You know, what I can say is the union labor in New York has built the Trade Center, Hudson Yards, the Empire State Building, Citi Field, Yankee Stadium, all of them. And none of our members or nobody in the union in New York City has ever seen an I-beam bend like that. So you're obviously putting profits before safety, and that's the main concern of everybody that's here right now. We have to do a better job.
Wow. Well, thanks for taking time out and jumping on this call with us, Cliff. We really appreciate it. Stay safe.
Thanks, Clifford.
Man, wouldn't that be something? During the World Cup, everyone's out there, and all of a sudden a building in New York falls and kills like a bunch of people. That would probably look really bad on the mayor, I would assume. I mean, especially if it's people from other countries and it's an international incident. And an international incident which could have easily been, avoided. They do look a little rusty, don't they? It's almost like you could get a little peek in there and see what's going on. Now that could just be surface rust. I don't know, because I'm not there with a magnet and a screwdriver to poke at it. But it could just be surface rust. But if it's not surface rust and there was a hole in the building, and during the entire time it was there, it's been flooding out and casting a bunch of water going down into it over time, and the only thing keeping it together is the rebar and a prayer. 1, I hate New York, and 2, I don't want to go there. Dan, on scene reporting. You think they would let me in? Hi, I'm some random YouTuber. Can you let me into this building that could potentially collapse at any point? I can't understand it's clicking. No, this building is perfect. God damn, look at it. Look at those beautiful beams I put in. This baby will last for 88 days. Slaps a piece of thing, falls off. That is not what I wanted to happen. This is bad. Well, like the guy said, he says this is obviously bad engineering. He said this is obviously something was wrong with it. Other people think there's something wrong with it. For him, though, he's just being honest, right? He's being honest. He's telling people what's going on. What more do you want? You know, and maybe from him too, that's something we should take, that's something we should take into account, right? Is that guy might be thinking to himself, hey, look, if this falls, it's going to kill somebody. It's going to get a lot of people hurt. And, you know, maybe that's why he's just being honest about it and coming out and being like, hey, look, this is like a worst case scenario that could possibly happen at any moment. By the way, I look at other YouTubers. I think I have a high chance of surviving over some of them. Speaking of YouTubers, do you guys know Marksman was fighting with Grand Thumb for a while? Over what? I don't know, but apparently they were fighting with each other. What is based? Based means like honest. Straightforward. The hard hat guy needs a job anywhere else than that city currently. Maybe Alaska. That should be far enough away. Yeah, base is like real or, you know, down to earth, or you don't care and you're saying what's on your mind. I have successfully turned a no news day into something interesting for 4 hours. And I get $10 away from hitting the halfway, folks. There's 100 of you in here. Everyone do $2. Let's go. Person that's telling truth is a conservative slant. By the way, I'm 63. Yes. I thought Blade was in his like 30s because the way he talks, but he's a damn old man. Yeah, it's not that old. People are now working all the way up until they're, like I was reading this thing about people working into their 90s because they can't afford to retire. Terrible. Horrible. But I think, again, what's going to happen is, something terrible, right? And hopefully it doesn't compact everybody that's in there, and you have, you know, see, could be like 100 people per floor. Good compacted. I'm 39 and should be on disability, and I work all the time. I kind of have to. Look at it go! I do. I attract a very wide and interesting audience. Unlike those other channels, which gets a bunch of yes people and robots. Mainly robots. I have a disease that affects my spine. Otherwise, I would love to be back at my old job. They see you, Sean. Don't worry. I'm just surprised they're able to squeeze out a 4-hour show. Because there is literally nothing going on. The people at Portland over there look bored. Good night, Scumdog. Take care, buddy. Your next job will be a lifeguard in a car wash. The U.S. State Department shut down a planned meeting between Iran and the communist NY New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani administration, according to Benny Johnson. So the U.S. State Department stepped in because apparently Mayor Zohran Mamdani wanted to have some private conversations with the leaders of Iran. That's a little interesting. When the Trump administration found about it, the State Department stepped in and canceled the meeting. Mamdani can't be allowed to undermine U.S. foreign policy. I don't think he's even allowed to talk with him. I don't know. Nobody knows. Everybody's looking at it really weird and suspicious, like, what the shit are you doing? He's gonna find peace himself. Don't worry, I will find peace. No, thank you. I do have a feeling that he is something. No, he's not allowed to talk to him. That's why they shut it down. Like, he's trying to be... So, okay, if he's not trying to be a traitor, right? What he is trying to do is undermine what's going on so that he can go... So he can go and be like, well, I made the peace deal. Or something like that. It's stupid. Isn't it the Logan Act violation? That's why State Department stopped it? Probably. I don't know much about the Logan Act, but I'm going to say there's probably multiple reasons why they were like, there is no goddamn way in hell we're letting you go and meet with somebody there during a peace treaty. Stupid. Yeah, I think the FBI is going to be investigating that formally. But I mean, he wouldn't be the first, mayor we've seen get arrested for treason or thrown out of office, at least. We don't really see him get arrested much. We see him get thrown out of office. Oh, State Department, DOJ, whatever it's going to be. Regardless, is what he's doing is not okay to do. I'm looking to see what else is going on my throat chill. Good, folks. $10 away from hitting the halfway mark. That's my goal tonight. It's just halfway, $10 to go. Yes, he is a citizen. But he can be arrested. So if the building collapses on him, and there's not much you could do, is what it's going to be. I am done for tonight. I'm going to call it a night. I am out of here. Maybe I'll come in and play Pal World the next time we're on. It is the Logan Act. There you go. There you go. You have a good rest of your night, everybody, and take it easy. Have a good one. I'm out of here. Eufy will be on in 20 minutes. And the rest of you have a very good and fantastic night tonight. Later, free America. Take care, buddy. You know, have a very fantastic night tonight. If anything crazy happens, I'll just jump back on. Mods for what? Pal World? Pal World has mods? I didn't know that. I play everything on PC. I don't have any consoles. I ain't got money for that. V2, oh my God, you can put myself in there. That'd be pretty cool. If we could do that, it'd be pretty awesome. What are you doing? I'm catching Pokemon. I mean, Palomon, or what the hell I call them. All right. You all have a very fantastic night tonight. Take care, friends. Have a good one. And if anything absolutely bonkers happens, I'll jump right back on as always. Make sure you sub up. Make sure you like. Make sure you have a good night's rest tonight. Love y'all. Take care.